And what a crowd it is.
What a crowd.
Man, we
Morning,
got
everybody.
that panel today. Man, how is everybody doing today?
Okay.
Good.
It is a beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning
Excellent.
here in Florida. Cloudy. I think it's going to rain again today. Of course, it rains every day here in Florida. I'd say if it's raining in Florida, it must be 3:30. That's about how it works out, especially in the summer. So
It's almost like it's monsoon season. Anyway, so how are you doing, Luke?
I'm doing good. I'm a little tired. I was up till 3 a.m. Printing off postage for the Killing Fields 1 through 3 campaign last night. So as soon as we're done here with the bacon, I'm going to the post.
How does it feel? How does it feel to not lose sleep drawing Chrome Dog? It's not my fault this time.
About the same as about the same as losing sleep doing anything else, really. It is. It's it's all relative. At the end of the day, it's all winks. At night that it happens. So yeah. Comic books are going out, man. It's done, and we're launching Rift Riders on Friday. So still too much work to do for that campaign.
And Rift Riders is going through Indiegogo, right? Not
Indiegogo. You guys want to hear a fun story?
Sure.
So there was a guy that last November,
There's always a guy.
December, that he actually ran a campaign for a book called Rift Riders, and it was brought to my attention a couple days ago. And so I looked, I didn't look over it much, but I looked at his dates. And I was like, I'm not going to make a stink, because we had Rift Riders that went out as part of the Hybrids book when we printed, and it was shipped out last October. Mm-hmm. Not October, last August. So it was published before his, and I'm like, I don't want to be that guy, because it's no fun to be that guy. But so I decided, I was like, we're not going to make a big stink. I've already got the copyrights for it. I've got the trademarks going for the new logo and everything. So it's like, we're not going to. Our audiences are small and they don't really intersect very much. So not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. But he contacted me yesterday, and believe it or not, we had a great conversation with each other. We both like, I was like, look, I didn't want to, kind of explain to him I didn't really want to make a big deal about it or whatever. And he's like, I think that's a fair assessment, and we come to an amicable thing, and we'll have him on the show sometime to chat with him and get to know him a little bit better and see what he's doing. His book his Riff Riders actually looks pretty cool too. It's similar in the time travel aspect, but his is more of like a swashbuckling type pirate thing.
Oh,
where ours is more of a
Doctor Who meets
Lost Boys. So, but yeah, that was pretty interesting. But it sent my morning into a spiral yesterday because I was like, oh, where's all this stupid paperwork? Because I've got all this paperwork now for Luke Stone Studios and receipts and all that, trying to. I don't know if you guys know this, but organization is not my
forte.
My strong suit here. I mean, it's not. And at my funeral, they're not going to be like, Luke was an extremely organized man. That is not going to be anything that they say about me.
That's why I have that curtain.
Right? Yeah.
no.
Here's the thing: you guys can see.
That's why
my
I'm going to get a curtain.
Yeah, you guys can see my disorganization back here. If I'm organized because somebody else has made me that way, but I'm trying to figure out, I got to get all this stuff. So it just becomes a big issue because I don't know under what pile of important papers those important papers are, and I happen to have snacks everywhere. I've gotten into this thing since I got back. I'll just have little bags of trail mix. This one's from Buc-ee's. This is sweet and savory from Buc-ee's.
Unofficial advertisement here,
unofficial
folks.
advertisement. So
You heard it.
Hashtag not sponsored yet, Buc-ee's. If
Yeah,
you
not
want to
sponsored
sponsor
and then here's
Nerd
little,
Bacon, please reach out to us.
Little beef jerky.
Glenn and I
Steak
have
beef
no
jerky.
idea what Buc-ee's even is.
Yeah, that's
right.
because okay. So here's the deal. You wouldn't know what Buc-ee's is, being so far up north. And Glenn, there's a lot of reasons why America's better.
I've been to Florida.
Buc-ee's is one of them.
I don't remember a Buc-ee's. I've been to Florida.
Well, Buc-ee's, we only recently got Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's was
there you go.
exclusively
Right.
Texas.
Yep.
Right.
And in pure Texas fashion, they are huge. So the first time I saw a Buc-ee's, I ever experienced a Buc-ee's, we were driving up to Indiana. It was the middle of the night. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning. And we kept seeing these signs for Buc-ee's. Like for hundreds of miles. It was like, this many more miles to Buc-ee's, this many more miles to Buc-ee's. Never experienced this before, right? So as I get a couple of miles away, I start seeing this glow in the sky that looks like, what the hell is that? Like what is going on, right? And so we get closer and we come to this exit where there's this Buc-ee's sign. There's a giant round circle, yellow and red, with a beaver's face on it. Big buck-tooth beaver wearing a hat. And I was like, what is
already.
this thing? What's that?
It's my kind of place already.
Right? Yeah. We pull in. I'm telling you, the place is lit up like it's its own solar system. Okay. I mean, you like I was saying, it was glowing for miles, and this they had probably 200 gas pumps.
Nice.
200 gas pumps. We walk in there, they've got brisket. They're doing fresh brisket on the board. I mean, they got they got briskets, tacos, brisket sandwiches, pulled pork. Like they got all this food. They had they make their own beef jerky, their own jerky. It's a 20-foot counter of nothing but beef jerky. They make their own fudge, their own pastries. They've got T-shirts and merchandise, and they got a store in there. Dude, I could have camped there. You could probably camp in Buc-ee's for a week and never have to leave. I mean, you'd be fine. Right there, right in the store. Because they also have camping gear that you can buy while you're there. I'm telling you, Buc-ee's is a thing of beauty.
So one-stop shopping, huh, for men.
So out west, there's another chain of convenience stores called Terribles, and man,
Really?
yeah,
Terribles.
Terribles.
That's a terrible name.
It was so cool because and their mascot is like this outlaw looking guy, you know. And
Should be a bull,
right? But yeah, you go in there and one of the biggest things that they try to advertise on their billboards is their restrooms. They have like hundreds of restrooms or whatnot. And what's so cool about it is you go in there and each stall is by itself. So you can't see under the feet and all that stuff. So you can just you have good privacy if you need it. If you're one of those kind of people that just doesn't like people seeing under the stalls. If you're in there or whatever.
We're not laughing at you. We're laughing at Hojo.
It is funny.
Hojo, Bucky's in the South, but up north they have winter soldiers.
Nice.
we used to have Hojos around here. So.
Yeah.
Hojos. Howard Johnson's?
Yeah, Howard
Yeah,
Johnson.
man. Oh my
got
gosh.
another place
Do I have a
down
Howard
here.
Johnson story? But anyway, go ahead.
We got another place down here. It's something like I don't think I can say the name on the air. I think I might get canceled.
Uh-oh.
It's something like I don't know. I'll have to ask. If
it's a place,
Spanish.
you got to be all right, unless it's
Spanish. I'm gonna get it wrong, and then get canceled for it. It's something to do with Mexican or something like that. I don't know. It's it doesn't. Every time I hear it, I'm like, that doesn't seem right. That we should say that. And maybe I'm just a little extra cautious these days. Being white, cis male in America.
Cis male.
Luke.
Cis male, yeah.
Luke.
Rolling
Some
into
stuff I
the
don't even
trap.
know.
Luke,
bro, man.
not
I
if
don't know.
someone else is in the room. I'm
I'm
in
a
a
Bubba
bizarre
male.
world right now
That's what
where
I am. I'm
Luke
not a
is
cis
being
man. I'm
careful.
Bubba.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just like, I can't remember. Here's the thing. I will text my wife, and it's funny. I'm gonna text her from the other room.
Now, are you referring to a specific hotel chain? Is that what
No,
we're talking about?
it's not a hotel
Okay.
chain.
Okay.
It's like a theme park.
Ah,
It's like a theme park that we've
Nice.
got here.
nice.
like a Wally World.
El Mariachis or something.
No,
Wow. Wait. No. I'm El Mariachi. I'm sorry.
We have a Mexican restaurant here that's called that. Believe it or not. So
Yeah.
El Mariachis.
yeah.
Man, tip the band well. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
so
Well,
it's like
the irony is it's too small
The
to even
mariachi.
have a band. But anyway,
so yeah. It's just like somebody heard well that's a Spanish word. Let me use that. That'll be fine, right?
nice.
I was having a conversation with someone last night, and I actually said, well, the good news of the gospel is, they said, well, that's stupid to say that, because gospel means good news. So the good news of the good news is, I realize how sometimes we say stupid stuff, like the El Guapos, of the and El that's the same.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, that's like on that film, isn't it? Mickey Blue Eyes, where they call it.
Yeah.
What do they call it? The Trattoria or something. They call his restaurant.
Cajon
They call it
Joe's.
the
That's a
Trattoria.
good name for a place, Cajon Joe's.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so
C.O.
I
Jones.
gave my wife the brief. I said, what's the place that has that bad sounding Mexican name? And she goes, Fuzzy Tacos? I said, no, that's not the one. Not that one.
We have a place up here that sells
That's
puppy tacos.
That's in the red light district, Luke.
They're
Fuzzy
deep fried.
tacos.
It's called Fuzzy's Taco Shop.
Fuzzy's Tacos, yeah.
Okay.
Used to have a Mexican place up here called Taco Loco.
Yeah.
Taco Loco sounds good.
Yeah, I think we had some down here at some point. Of course, down under they've got Taco Bill. That's hilarious.
So
Oh.
great.
Over in Australia, Taco Bills.
Taco
That
Bills.
sounds Australian.
I mean,
Yeah, mate.
They're
going to
authentic.
Taco Bell's. Yeah.
they're authentic over
I
there,
love-
right?
Authentic.
Cool.
Authentic.
So-
yeah.
Leave it to my wife to think of the more risque ones.
Fuzzy Tacos.
Fuzzy's Taco Shop and One Night Taco Stand. We do have a one night taco
Nice.
stand here,
Perfect.
which is there. They're really good.
They only
They're
planned
really
on
good.
being there for a short time.
Yeah, I thought we went once and then we come back and we looked them up on Google and they said they were closed. And I said, that really was just one night, wasn't it? I was like, holy cow! But they've got a really cool wrestling theme inside, and so they got a lot of luchador masks. And luchadors is okay. We got to talk about this for a second. I mean, we're on the topic, right? Why not? Let's just go there.
Do it.
Did y'all see this the Hispanic covers that DC did
Oh yeah.
for Latin Pride, whatever?
I saw enough of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the
My gosh.
Who
It's
was
like
it?
the only
Green Lantern was toting a bag of tamales.
Outer space tamales, yeah. Every last one of them had a food element. Now here's the thing, that Green Lantern one, it didn't start out like that. That was the redraw.
Yeah.
There was another version that was actually really good.
Yeah.
That I was like, hey, that's pretty good.
Because they told the artist they wanted to do Hispanic, whatever, appreciation month for their covers. So he sent them that drawing.
Yeah.
And they said, no,
Amazing.
we need something that's actually Mexican. Throw some tacos in there. Some, I don't know, tamales.
Yeah.
That's what they
you,
that's
you
what
don't
they did.
you don't understand, kid.
Yeah.
We got to have something Mexican in there.
Well, see, and that's
Like
the
food.
thing. It's like, you say, hey, we want to celebrate Hispanic pride. Well, what about the other Hispanic folks? I mean, goodness, we got Guatemalans, Hondurans. I mean, there's a list, a whole list of, Puerto Ricans. I mean, Dominicans. I mean,
I remember on Facebook, Jamal Eigel, who is African American, said, "What's next? You're going to have us carrying watermelon for Black History Month?
But
Fried
okay,
chicken?
so
What's
here's
up?"
the thing. So their focus was on all these food products, right? Now, yeah, we've talked a little bit about food, but I just mentioned luchadors, right?
Yeah.
One of the coolest and probably earliest like superhero type characters in my life were wrestlers, and the most mysterious of those were the luchadors, right?
Yeah.
I
like
mean,
Rey Mysterio
like
Jr.
Rey Mysterio Jr.
Oh man,
Like,
But
so
dude,
cool.
no one
mean-
should speak ill of Rey Mysterio.
How could you? How could you? So okay. So their contribution to entertainment, like let's just start with wrestling because that's entertainment and athletics. Okay, the athleticism of the luchador is amazing, and then I start thinking about, well, all the ballroom dances that everyone really likes are, the cha-cha, I almost said the El Paso.
El Paso.
I know a lot about ballroom dancing. The tango, all of the ones that speak with your hips, the ones you really want to watch. All of those,
These hips don't lie.
all of it, because your hips don't lie.
The El Paso, that's a dance you do after going to Fuzzy's Taco Stand, right?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So
Like shaking.
my wife is just popping things off. She goes, "There's a Mexican themed."
with a Mexican girl.
Beth is saying there's a Mexican themed theme park in the south called South of the Border. That's actually in South Carolina. So it's not, it's
okay.
only in South Carolina.
Do
And then there's
you
a
remember?
gas station called El Cheapo's.
Do you remember?
That's
Do you
a
remember?
good name for a gas station.
Do you remember Taco Bell's old slogan was "Run for the border"?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
South of the border.
They used to have a Chihuahua as a mascot, too.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Do you think that? You
Yo
think that would
quiero
fly
Taco
these
Bell.
days?
Yeah.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Yeah,
Yeah, I love
that.
it.
That's
I love it.
That's the full extent of my. That was the full extent of my Spanish, and I have no idea why I failed that class.
Not even nearly as offensive as the Frito Bandito.
The Frito Bandito.
Now,
Right, right.
If we're going to talk about,
But let's talk about. Okay,
no,
so
no,
go ahead.
we
I
have-
was just gonna add more contributions that for Pride that they could bring up.
Pedro Eng. Yeah, wait, Pedro Eng just
Super chat. Thank you so much for
Super
the
chatted.
super chat, Pedro, for $2. Appreciate it. Says if you are talking Latino stuff, send me a link, buddy.
yeah.
Link a coming, brother.
Always link Pedro if you have the option. But
Link a coming.
now
Link
see,
for Pedro.
Link.
we grew up poor,
Link
and
for
I didn't have cable TV till I was a man. But
I'm still not a man. What are you talking about?
It's like,
exactly. But I used to watch the Mexican channel Telemundo 44. I don't speak Mexican, but I got so engrossed in the telenovela that I would watch them, and my brothers and I, we would sit and we would just Whose line is it anyway? Verbal dubbing with no idea what's going on.
Pedro make the t-shirts.
And it was
Bless
just,
your heart, Nick.
I mean, it was just great. And I actually,
Everybody.
We know the real reason why you're watching Telemundo anyway. They have some of the most
Sabata
beautiful women dressed in
Gigante.
yeah.
He likes them.
That you've
He
ever
likes
seen.
them. Here's the truth. Nick likes them caramel skinned women with them hips that don't lie. Speaking
First off,
speaking of hips that don't lie,
Nothing wrong with
Pedro.
Hey,
Pedro.
how you doing, guys?
Now Pedro truly is south of the border,
Yeah, extremely south, and
extremely south.
the thing is like, I wish I could say I saw it and I laughed because I mean, I kind of have a sense of humor,
You gotta have, yeah.
but yeah, dude, like I don't want to say they got pissed. It just like, dude, these guys are so misguided. 'Cause it's not even Latin pride; it's Mexican pride. Because I mean, if you get out of Mexico and you show a Guatemalan taco, it's like, oh, that's Mexican. you know?
That's,
So if you want to do Latin pride, you need more dishes. You need like mofongo, mondongo,
Yeah.
chocolate, you know?
But it's got to be more than food, right? I mean, because that's exactly what I was trying to say. You think about the Latin influence on music.
It's just food.
It's just food. No, it's just food.
Yeah. Like,
So I did the classic white guy thing. Okay, I got offended for somebody else's people group.
yeah, dude.
Oh man.
No, okay. Now, in all seriousness, yeah, there's a lot of history. There's a lot of things to tell on this side, but there are ways to say it. And being condescending, like, yeah, you have your day, dude. I'm Latino the whole year. Like, I don't need to be celebrated like that. Like, yeah, it's like your family's starving day or whatever. Like, that's how it feels.
Yeah.
You know, when they do that, it's like,
So I've heard a few people say this. So number one, there's not a white pride day.
yeah,
That
there
might
should be.
Or a hetero pride day. We don't have those things, right? Because it's like, well, you get every day. Well, I think everybody gets every day, is what I think.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they should get every day. I think it's because it doesn't really matter. Like a lot of this stuff, I think, here's what it is. It's pandering. It's pandering. I'm going to sell more comic books because of your qualifier.
Yeah.
If I make it gay, you're going to buy it.
Yeah.
And we see all these, gay pride. I'm telling you what, the rainbow flags go up and then they come down real fast. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, it's pandering is what it is. Hey, it's Latin pride. And then all they do, and then like I said, all it is food. It's like,
and the
there's
thing
a few
with,
more contributions to society than food.
The thing with Latin pride is that it's really non-existent. We are a conglomerate of nations.
Yeah.
Colombians can't stand Panamanians. Panamanians can't stand Colombians. Brazilians can't stand anyone. We are not united.
Right?
You know what I mean? We are not
I love
one
that.
thing.
Man, I think I might fit right in Brazil.
exactly.
Maybe that's where I should move. Because I might fit
Brazil
right in
is
there.
amazing. I have family in
Yes.
Rio, in Fortaleza, and in Recife. Dude, everything is true.
Yeah.
So it's all true.
Things are
Okay.
true. It's
All
all
right.
true. It's all true.
Yeah, I've heard a lot. Now, oddly enough, most of the people that I work with in the creative field, if they're not, if they're not in the States, they're usually in Brazil.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
typically where.
Yeah,
typically
Brazil
where-
is like 180 million people or something. It's a huge country. Like for
Yeah.
example, my country's only 4 million, so we're like a neighborhood in Brazil.
Yeah.
Colombia's like 40 to 50 million, but they have more writers than artists for some reason. Like a lot of writers come from Colombia, but not in comic books. They just like write books, but they're like very prolific.
Yeah.
Chile, it's all about business, and Argentina, they just think they're the shit.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Johnny freaking Cage says I won't be caught dead with one of these.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, I would reject that in a heartbeat. Like, yeah, do you want to try like the super strong tamale? Like, dude, because that's the thing. Like, if you do something that is strictly Latino to these college educated, seems to be overweight because they only think about food.
Nice.
guys who work at Marvel and DC, they wouldn't understand it. Like if I do a story about Simon Bolivar, for example, like the great liberator, like he would be like our George Washington.
Yeah.
Like he created a country that doesn't exist today. It was like La Gran Colombia. Like it was like Venezuela, parts of Ecuador, Colombia, and Panama. And that guy beats the Spanish ass at every moment. He got betrayed by his own people. Like it's a very compelling story. But if I do that comic book and turn it tomorrow, it's like, where are the tacos? So
Yeah.
stop.
Why is there no tostados in this?
Yeah,
book?
Well-
oh my god. Yeah,
Well, and then
like,
they also
God.
will like come in, and when you use the word Latino, you say you're Latino every day of the year. They'll come and say, "Oh no, it's Latinx or
Latinx.
Latinx," and it's like
That's the
what?
thing now that we do.
dude, you say Latinx down here, you might get slapped.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, and it would be deserved.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like cool.
Johnny says
There
we're
you
over 210 million already.
And you know why, Johnny? Because you won't stop having sex. With Brazil.
Wait, have you
Right.
He's a sexy
You
beast.
just stop if you figured out.
Yeah,
I-
Because the
okay.
television's not got down there yet.
yeah, exactly.
Oh man,
I always,
Right.
I always
But,
thought because it. I always thought because of it was because you guys were Catholic.
No, dude, it's hot. People wear skimpy clothes, and samba makes you dance. You know, like
Right, yeah. Things just slide into places.
Yeah,
Right.
oh, yeah,
Right,
it's
things
amazing.
just- yeah. Like we didn't know we were doing it. Things just slid into places and it happened.
Yeah.
We were hot, almost naked, and dancing. It was just
Yeah.
just happened.
I mean,
mean-
it's hard not to be attractive if you're sweating, you're off, and all you're doing
Yeah.
is this. It's just core
Yeah.
exercises. You know?
Yeah, and the thing is like Catholicism is for later when you repent. Oh God, I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that's the get out of jail process. It makes
Mhm.
perfect sense.
Marv is not having it. Marv
No.
says, "What about all the non-Hispanic communities, the Latin non-Hispanic community?"
No.
I guess I don't really understand that question.
Oh, okay. So he's referring to the fact that Latino it's about language, Hispanic is about language. But you have people who are Latino, basically come from the romantic languages, basically derived from Latin. And you get Brazilians, they don't speak Spanish, they speak Portuguese.
Yeah.
You go to Belize, they speak English. But you see them, and until they open their mouth, they will look Latino to you. And you go to the French Guiana, they speak French. You go to Haiti, they're not considered Latino, even though they are. And they speak French. That's another thing. Haiti, the horrible rap. Like those guys, they had the sugar trade, and they were the country that basically sponsored every revolution in the 1800s. But nobody remembers that because it's like, oh, Haiti, voodoo.
Voodoo,
They're broke. It's like, sure.
voodoo, and natural disasters, and
Yeah, exactly. And dude, it's
Yeah.
so unfair. It's so unfair.
and the Clintons raped that community.
Oh, the Clintons were in line, man. Like everybody has gone to Haiti and done what they wanted.
So I know we got off on this weird tangent today.
Yeah,
Hey,
All right.
love
because of
it.
Buc-ee's,
Bring it.
because of Buc-ee's, but
We need to talk more,
but
more,
man, yeah,
more of
it-
this.
Educational. Shoot.
Yeah,
I like
More
hearing
news
about other
show.
culture.
I
Not
mean,
just
if
the
they- if-
food, although I am what you said, the white overweight guys who like, know it by culture. Hi, that's me. That's how I start.
Yeah, dude. I
You know?
mean, and you know what? God bless you. The tia who's cooking the tacos sees like an overweight American. It's like, we make the weak, mijo. You know?
I used to tell people, and it started because I used to go to a very, very Mexican taco restaurant that showed up in,
Yeah.
and the thing is, they had actual Mexican food that even if I didn't have a speech impediment, I couldn't pronounce.
I
So,
can't say that stuff.
like, I would go in, everybody's looking at me funny. It's like Peter, possibly stolen gas station refrigerator full of Fanta, and then like no
Fanta,
no
retails,
menu,
man.
no nothing. They just look at
Yeah.
you funny. So it'd be like point, and then pay the gringo tax. And for me, it's the gringo tax when I find the right Mexican restaurant or the right Chinese or Korean. I love a lot of food I can't pronounce, and I know I'm going to pay more because at least for my first 6 visits, I don't belong. But then after a while, the price, ratchets
I've
down.
legit gotten in trouble.
And I'm totally okay with that because that's fair. Because people who look like me are assholes.
Not all of you. Okay.
Oh my
Not all of
gosh.
No,
No.
no.
Oh no! Like up where I live, a lot of Luke.
Indiana, yes.
Indiana.
Yes.
But Nick, picture this: like Panama had U.S. Army bases
Oh yeah.
for 101 years. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So if somebody in Latin America knows gringos, we do.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Like you can meet like huge, like corn-fed, 6'7", like American assholes. Like those exist. But most of my crews were all right. We just got to enjoy beer and hey, what's up? Even during the invasion, like dude, like they were shooting at Panamanians, but dude, I stayed home. I mean, like dude, I was
It's like there's some dude out there with a gun shooting at people that look like me. I'm just gonna stay home today.
The thing is like the Noriega government, which was like a narco government. You know, those guys were like filling their pockets like with both hands. And then they said that Panamanian youth come and fight with us for the fruit of the list. I was like, what the hell?
Screw that, man.
You
I'm not getting shot at today.
Yeah, you guys are crooks. You think I'm gonna risk my life for you?
I'm not gonna die for you. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Which is sad because that's kind of what our
We have more
was
in
about.
common with them. That sounds much more like the American experience than anyone here wants to probably admit.
But yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's the whole identity politics thing is number one. It pisses me off. Okay, but number two, it's predicated upon these stereotypes that are narrow and based on maybe one or two people's experiences. We're seeing this happen with the spider persons, the spider people, right? With this new sun spider. Now, I looked at that writer's Twitter, and every single way that person promotes their book is through some kind of outrage. They don't like my book. They don't like me because I'm lesbian. They don't like me because I'm this, or they don't like me because of whatever. Well, you know what? They don't like you because you're just not a likable person. It's probably what it is. It comes down to the fact that you're always playing victim, and you're not that good of a writer. Okay, you're not that interesting. So you know, and that's the thing. People think they're more interesting than what they are, so they only want to write their experiences instead of doing some research and maybe write some other people's experiences as well.
Yeah, dude. Like,
your job as a writer is not just to always write yourself, but maybe to write other things as well. And so now I only spent probably 6 months in a wheelchair all the time, and then 7 or 8 total with being part-time in a wheelchair for the last year. You guys may not know it, but this last what was it, Tuesday the 30th was a year from the day they put me under. And so during that amount of time, it's not like I've been in a wheelchair my whole life, right? But when I saw this, the spider person, shooting webs out of their crutches with a wheelchair strapped to their back, I was a little offended, even in my little experience with it, right? Because I was like, why does a heroic person have to be heroic outside of the chair? Why can't they be heroic inside of the chair? Like, I've got a character that's in my universe that doesn't have superpowers, is in a wheelchair, and is just as heroic as the big, giant 7'1" guy that's invulnerable. Just as heroic, but in different senses. And he doesn't need to not be in the chair.
Look at Oracle. I mean, Oracle actually handled it. DC handled. I did not like Long Halloween. Okay, there were aspects of that really kind of caused me. I lose my mind.
Now when you say hold on, when you say Long Halloween, are you talking about the killing joke? Because that's when she gets shot.
God, I just farted.
That's when she gets shot. And oh my gosh, Alan Moore.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started. Continue.
Alan freaking Moore.
But I did indeed mean the killing joke. I hate it so much.
They can't all be winners. That's all.
Right.
That's all I'll say.
but
But they can all be.
and I
winners.
literally couldn't remember the names.
Can all
But
be winners.
what
Fine.
they did with Oracle as a character for you want to see representation done right, and that's one thing we do have
These are
to
one.
recognize. If we're going to say they're doing it idiotically, and there's somebody who did it right, we need to recognize.
Yeah.
Wow,
Well,
they did Oracle right, and they didn't do it as any other comic and nearly any other character. It would have been a gimmick.
Like, you know,
well,
like
and
Professor
then,
X
but
with the
then,
wheelchair.
yeah, exactly. Professor X. I mean,
He's in a
here's a
wheelchair.
guy
Yeah.
who,
Chief.
you know, and he even like there's moments where he's kind of like going through what it's like to have that problem.
Yeah.
And I remember, what was it? There was a story arc where he gained the ability to walk, and then it turned out to be like some dream world or something that he was
Yeah.
wrapped
Yeah,
up
model
in.
decoy.
Yeah.
Now, so what I was going to say is these people they only write their experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this person writing this is like, well, you can't criticize the story because I'm writing my experience. But you know what? Maybe your experience is different than somebody else's experience that doesn't write a comic book. And if inclusion and representation is so important, then please maybe interview a few people and try to span a little more gamut, a little more gamut than just your experience, okay? Because look,
Rogue's been trying to
all
spam
of us here write comic books. All comic books, right? Tales from the Aniverse. Randy,
Yeah.
you've got well, number one, you're not anthropomorphic.
Well, yeah, I am.
You might be.
It's a serious, funny animal book. Oh, you're talking about me personally? No,
You're
I'm
not. Yeah, you're not, right?
I feel
And,
anthropomorphic at times, though.
Right, yeah. So you identify. I don't know.
Oh
Randy
no!
was furry before furry was cool.
Here we go.
There's a lot of falters I patterned after myself. Yeah.
He's Monkey X.
Well, Spank is all. Spank is all.
Wow!
That's it.
Spank is 100% Randy.
You just tap dance into the mind,
Right down to the ears.
Yeah. You
Always
like
under the
dive roll down the hill into the minefield on that one.
Hey,
don't even
well,
care.
the thing
Wow.
is, I had to make a joke because of the Latinx, so Monkey X.
Oh,
Monkey
yeah,
X.
Monkey
No,
X.
no.
Monkey X.
Monkey.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Mantis is a great series, the old TV show that shows the back and forth. In that it's cheesy, but
Yeah.
the whole it shows the frustration of physical impairment, and I get that. But
Dude.
I am
I
telling
don't know.
people to touch
You
grass
said-
every now and then.
Yeah, you said Monkey X, and it reminded me of Lance Slink Secret Chimp. I don't know if you've seen that show.
Lancelot Link. Secret
Yeah.
Chimp. Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
It's just
Can I interrupt here and just say that I'm
Please
really,
do.
really sorry that I've bored you to death today, but I'm going to drop out now.
oh god,
Oh, Glenn,
Have fun on
know
the
what?
stream, brother.
say it then. So,
I'll see you all again, and I'll see you tomorrow, Randy.
See you tomorrow
Best of
morning.
luck.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
Tomorrow,
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
late morning for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
We'll see ya.
see you later. See ya.
Yeah.
while we have a pause before the insanity comes out, I want to talk about something that happened to me that has a PSA attached. I updated to Windows 11, and yeah, as soon as I say that, Pedro's out.
Sorry.
But
Windows.
no,
Yeah.
sorry.
When you said updated, I said, "Oh, there's going to be a story."
Yeah.
there we go.
Apparently, Windows 11 is having problems with and everybody.
Everyone's having problems.
Just messing. But I'm in and out anyway because I'm at work.
Anyway. Windows 11 has a problem with peripherals, and if you have too many peripherals attached right now, it will not boot up. It will give you a blue screen of death. And I spent, because obviously I stream, so I have my better camera that Luke gave me, my better mic that Luke gave me. I just got a boom, so I'm not fumbling with it. You can see a little bit of it.
It's nice.
And my tablet.
That's only three
Apparently-
things.
Well, the problem is it's a touch screen computer, with an integrated
CPU.
Camera,
Oh,
and of course an integrated mic. So the computer has drivers for all these things, obviously, and keyboard, mouse. I've had to take everything off, and I spent hours beating on it, and then I was looking through.
That's what she said.
Trying to,
Jeez.
mm-hmm.
I get no complaints. Looking through the things, and somebody puts out, yeah, it's a peripheral thing. Try unplugging everything but what you absolutely need. So I'm saying this because a bunch of us are broadcasters. A bunch of us have multiple devices plugged into our boxes. So if you're,
That's what she said.
if
So
you
many
plug in,
opportunities.
if you have this problem,
I can't breathe.
I'm trying to save you guys the hassle of dealing with it. And right now, they're starting to sell really great USB hubs with push-button switches, which will let you disconnect the device without having to plug it in. Okay. So I'm just letting you guys know that, because I don't want it, usually if something breaks, it breaks for me first, and then 6 months later, other people have problems. I'm just gifted that way. So I just wanted to put that out there as a.
So are you claiming like?
Genuinely trying to help folks.
Are you claiming like first victim, like prima nocta or something?
Oh! wait! Prima nocta? Wait!
Yeah.
Prima nocta.
Prima
Yeah,
nocta.
you know
but,
what?
like, I'm
You know what?
first
You're right.
victim.
You're right. If there's a problem,
Low-hanging
the
fruit
first
day,
thing
yeah.
it does, the first night it appears, it
Yeah.
takes me. Yeah.
It takes-
it just rails me. That's
You're
how it
prima
is.
nocta.
I don't get prima nocta. The problem does. Like
Yeah.
knock. What? There's a computer
Yeah.
problem. Biff.
There you go.
It's low hanging fruit day on Nerd Bacon.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take it. Dude, we take all the fruit we can get. Well, hey, now let's go ahead and send Bunny a.
We're independent creators. We gotta take all the fruit we can get.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
want to buy my book because you hate me? Feel free to hate me.
Burn it. Burn as many copies as you want.
Yeah, dude,
I'll give you a sale. I'll give you a discount to buy multiple
Yeah.
copies.
a burnt book was paid for, so
That's right.
Yeah.
well,
That's right. Yeah, a burned book was paid for.
yeah.
So yeah, we actually do have something to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the Todd father.
Mm.
Okay, so there's always, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but things aren't going so well over at DC Comics.
I'm gonna get some coffee for this. Give me 1 second.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so like the things haven't been going so well over at DC Comics. In fact, they've kind of been passed around from one in-debt parent company to another now for a minute. For a minute now, it's been kind of going on that way, and
Telepathic Bunny, have you tried to jimmy your door? I'm sorry, I know you're about to start this whole thing, but you're also looking up to bring it up. Telepathic Bunny's locked out and waiting for a locksmith. I'm sorry, I grew up in shadier parts of Indiana, so have you tried just
I don't
take
need a
your
locksmith.
credit card and slide? If you don't have a deadbolt, you should be able to get into your house pretty easily. I mean, if I had more
There's a
time,
lot
I'd
of
tell
ways
you
to
how to
get
make
into a
a
house.
pick and a torsion wrench, but I'd
there's
probably
a lot of ways to get into a
It's a
house.
deadbolt,
not
Nick.
legal.
It's a deadbolt.
It's a deadbolt.
So what
yeah,
you
that,
need-
that is a little more complicated.
Oh, no, not only a little. Hold on. You need something shaped like this right here, and then you need a torsion wrench. Somebody borrow my torsion wrench.
And y'all think I'm the one with the shady past?
Yeah.
Anyway, what you do, get yourself a little angled piece of metal. The bar from a
Wait, hold
should
on a
not
second.
work.
Hold on a second. The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of Nick.
Yeah.
wow, yeah. Anyway,
I have a cousin with those tools. He's in jail.
I used to do competitive lockpicking in college. As
Oh, okay.
we'd all sit and pick padlocks
Nice.
as just a puzzle. You know, nothing terrible
Somehow
about
be
that.
like it.
The
Yeah.
junior was because I locked myself out of my house all the time.
Then again, you
Alright.
graduated from San Quentin U, so it's all good.
Yeah.
That would require
Hold
me to lock.
As long as you don't take anything, I guess.
Well, no, it's just getting into your own
Good
house.
evening, people. Oh,
I love our
okay.
chat. Our chat is the best
Yeah.
chat. Our chat is the best chat.
I was just
Deadbolts
going to
are
say,
nothing.
remember, if you use force, it's probably going to take you twice as long to reattach everything to the door
Yeah,
frame than it
yeah.
took you to break in. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. The tools are locked in the house. I've got the tools, but they're in the house. It's in
Sorry,
the house.
telepathic bunny.
Everything, yeah.
I feel for you.
Yeah, man.
Well, you know, you could get those metal bars from a windshield wiper, and there's usually some of those outside your house.
Then you gotta fix the windshield wipers. I mean, come on, Nick.
I had the same thing happen to me a couple of months ago, and I am happy to say I
He's like,
kicked
guys,
my
it's a
door
rental.
in.
I can't be tearing the doors up, man.
Oh,
Look, we've all got ideas
Yeah, we all
because
have
it's not
ideas.
our situation. But I think that you've handled it perfectly well. Call a
Yeah.
locksmith.
Lock
Yeah.
picking lawyer.
that's your only recourse at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it might take
Sorry.
them a while to get there, but
So
don't be like the
Dad,
commercial
watch
and
the
go out shopping on your credit card while you're waiting for the locksmith to show up.
yeah.
Just don't do
Right,
that.
because that's fiscally responsible.
Yeah, exactly.
I honestly, I did not mean to hit that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was
No, but now
Completely
now,
accidental.
but this
It was a great commercial.
this is the one that we were going for.
What a story, Mark.
I got the heavy hands today.
Yeah.
So anyway,
$75.
it's 2022.
Ouch.
Yeah. All right. So here's the
Wow.
deal.
BBC says, yeah,
Here's the deal, guys. So
2022.
in Bleeding Cool today. Well, in the last couple of
Yesterday.
days, yesterday,
Yeah.
but also there's a
Day
new one
before.
today. Well, August 31st, there was one posted
They
about.
finally post the one about the Gorilla Grodd toy. Is that what it is?
Well, no, they posted the one about the
The Flash toy.
the heat wave.
Oh, he's
So
with
this is
yeah.
about- these
That
are
was
the-
yesterday. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so these are the cool ones.
He's
but-
he's posting a set on Bleeding Cool, you know, because they don't have anything to report. So their toy guy is posting an article for every toy that Todd is doing. Hey,
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
it's a Captain Cold toy. Hey, look, it's a Flash toy. Hey, look, it's an Atom toy. It's like there's a line.
Yeah, it's like, dude, we get it. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
toys. Like, that's what.
Hey, Luke.
That's what
reach out to
McFarlane
Bleeding
Toys does.
Cool and tell them
Yeah.
you don't have a story. Support the hybrids trade paperback.
Trade paperback, yeah, trade paperback. I
worst
need
they
one
can
backer,
say is
guys.
no.
By the way, I need one
Awesome.
backer to be able to go to print, and just waiting on like I said, just a couple more things to do. I've kind of because we slowed down on that. I've been moving on a couple of other things that need to get done, but that'll be ready for print. I need one more backer, on
Awesome, man.
on that campaign. Ran from my own site, cutting out the middleman, the third party companies. This is all Luke and welcome to the Lukedom. Luke approved. So you could just one more backer, guys. One more person to jump on that pre-order, and I'll be able to pay for the print run for that book. I'm very excited about it. Very, very excited about it. But anyway, I want to bring this up. I pulled up this one because I thought the design looked pretty cool. But Todd McFarlane has redesigned a set of action figures. So I don't know if you're familiar with what DC Direct is. DC Direct is they're the toy wing of DC Comics. Okay, they did
Okay.
toy statues and things like that. Pretty much any collectible action figure thing like that you would find, they did. And so really cool. A lot of the stuff is really, really cool stuff. And once Zasloff comes along, obviously he's putting the axe to a bunch of different things, but we know that the DC publishing wing hasn't been doing well for a while. Publishing comics in general from the big two, they haven't been doing well for a while. A lot of their income comes from the MCU or the DCU, these kind of movie properties, the television properties now that they're doing. In fact, if you go to like a Marvel or DC store in one of these like themed park areas, like if you go to the Marvel store down at Disney Springs, you won't find a single comic book in there. You will find toys and action figures and clothing lines. You'll find all of that other stuff because that's where the money's at for them, right? So they're using the properties for other things. But there's this rich history in the publishing wing for these two, for things like DC Comics, that I think it's just, it may not be economical for these companies to keep them going. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because this is kind of interesting in this, because it gives maybe a little bit of an insight to what might or could happen. It's totally speculative at this point, but it's something that might or could happen. There's been people talking about it before. Todd McFarlane has ran a successful publishing and toy company, and among other things, right?
Yeah.
So DC Comics, DC Direct had their toys and action figure line thing that they did. They have since closed that down, and now it's been licensed to McFarlane Toys.
Mm-hmm.
McFarlane Toys now has the now, number one, that's kind of a big deal, because I don't know that I've ever heard of DC licensing out their characters outside of maybe some merch lines in the past and different things like that, but they tried to keep it all in house. But so now under Discovery, Warner Brothers, they've licensed out these characters, and Todd McFarlane himself has done the redesign, and he's made now with this, so these are called the Page Punchers, which they did a line of these before, where it's a comic book with a little kind of minifigure. But this is an action figure, 7-inch action figure with a comic book. Now, if you notice, the comic book has got these redesigned characters from Todd McFarlane, so it's brand new. But it's a DC number 1. And it's McFarlane Toys, guys. McFarlane Toys is publishing this comic book, this DC comic book. Think about that for a second. Not only is McFarlane Toys doing the characters, the action figures, but it comes with a comic book. And it's a DC comic book, but it's McFarlane Toys that's put this together. Obviously, we don't know the full details, but presumably McFarlane Toys is the one that hired the artist and all that kind of stuff, and the writer to make it happen, because it's for this release. It's for this action figure line is why this book exists. So, could DC Comics be considering licensing out their publishing wing to somebody more successful? Somebody that's got a proven model that's doing it and making it happen.
Well, Marvel had tried that a couple years ago with the IDW deal. They were looking at that as a test run to see if IDW could print some of the Marvel characters. And the numbers that IDW was pulling down, I'm pretty sure that license has already been yanked.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, because the numbers they weren't pulling down anything number worthy, but neither, the books weren't that great either.
Yeah, well, but again, they weren't Marvel books. They were IDW books.
Yeah, but they were Marvel, the Marvel
Characters.
Adventures line, kids line for the Marvel characters. Yeah.
But they didn't try with anything significant.
Well, they definitely didn't do anything significant with them. That's for sure.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Again, nothing. It's like they didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
It's they have this idea and they test it, but it's like they're afraid to actually test it. To really.
Well, that's been these big companies all over.
Yeah.
DC started a number of imprints that only last 6 months and then disappear. It's amazing miracle that Vertigo lasted as long as it did.
True.
I think that's a tribute to Karen Berger and the people up there, and Neil Gaiman up there, that they were able to uncover. That Pat Mills actually is the main one deserving the credit, because they went through and completely stripped out the 2000 AD talent and brought them over to America and did Vertigo with them. So
I just want to point out what a cool design for this character, using
they're all
3
great.
colors.
Yeah.
3 colors on this character.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks great. It looks really cool. And what a cool redesign.
Yeah.
What's the price point?
Oh, I don't know, but I'm going to buy them.
All of those designs are great.
They are. And even the Flash design, the redesign is really good on there. But
Yeah, really, I was looking at that yesterday, thinking it's a take on Johnny Quick from the Earth 3
yeah,
story and the Flash character from the Earth 2 line that was out about 10, 12 years ago.
yeah, it's got a good night.
It's
It's
really
got a
a
good
smart
vibe to it.
reworking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really cool rework. And but yeah, so the idea that but here's the other thing. So these toys are going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, these toys are going to be in Target and Walmart, and I mean they're everywhere, right? And now this comic book is going to be everywhere those toys can be, every retailer. We saw what Walmart tried to do with the comic books with the Brett Weisers, Red Rooster, and how it went. They had them back by the video games and the collectibles. Really hard place to find them. Those comic books are not in Walmart stores now. I believe they've completely pulled them out of every Walmart. They're all gone.
Well, and before that, they had a contract with DC that they put their point of purchase stand up next to the Pokemon cards instead of around the magazines. Then before that, they had a contract with Marvel to do the Ultimate line.
Yeah, so they failed and failed and failed and failed.
Yeah.
But one thing they can sell is toys.
Yeah.
So is the future of getting new readers, is the future packaging a comic book with a toy and getting it in the hands of new readers?
Yeah, well, I think
discuss.
the culture is lost. I think the culture is lost of like going to a comic for a young kid, like going to a 7-Eleven and saying, "Mom, I need the new comic." Like that culture is lost. So I think the strategy-wise, it's cool because kids still buy toys. So putting a comic book next to a toy might start like get them accustomed to, okay, I can be entertained by a book. So that's cool.
Yeah.
The thing is, like a lot of people are concentrating on the fact that Todd is doing it. And I don't think Todd is gonna take this whole and they're like, I'm gonna manage DC. Like, dude.
No.
He hasn't
Todd's
done
gonna make
IP.
money. Todd's
Yeah.
gonna make money.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? One thing Todd's really good at doing, besides making comic books and toys, making money. Like
Money.
he is really. That's why he's called the Todd Father. The
Yeah,
dude is
and
genius.
as a keen businessman, I don't think like DC right now. It's not a prospect for anybody outside of Warner Brothers. Like I'd rather come up with my own IP and
Yeah, I don't think there's not a lot of
Brand
people out
water.
there.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Pedro. I don't think a lot of people out there would want to take on the mess that's there right now, especially with the, kind of with the woke agenda that's happening, and all that, and then the battles between the woke and anti-woke, and the culture war things that are going on, and the CGers and anti-CGers. I don't think anyone really that loves comics wants to get in the middle of that thing.
I'd do it.
Zim would do it.
I'll do it.
Zim-
I'll
I'd
do
do
it.
it. They'd
I'll
have
do
to
it, but
guarantee me a year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
you
I'll do
need-
it, but
you need to
I'll
fix it.
I'll
I
spray
would
it
fix
with
it.
DDT. I'll spray it with DDT first
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
going in. The huge cleansing, like dude, like it's gonna be World War II.
See, Michael
Wrong
says he's
thing.
also good at getting
That's
sued.
exactly what I'd do too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
taking the book from Stalin.
Yeah,
Family
there you
of
go.
the enemy of the state. You're gone.
Yeah.
I said it before. I'd sit there with an egg timer. I'd pull in everybody in, all the writers in one at a time. Start the egg timer and say, "Tell me your favorite story."
Yeah.
And if it wasn't good, they were out the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out the door.
Yeah. But you kind of got to be like that. You've kind of got to be a Zaslav, who's not a conservative as
Yeah.
far as as far as I'm aware. I've always thought he was kind of left leaning, right?
Yeah.
But you've got to detach yourself at some point from, from politics and even nostalgia to say, look, this is bad. We're going to lose money on this.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to and I told this to someone the other day. I said, look, you can't have a platform to help people if you don't have a platform. Like you've got to build a platform in order to be able to do that. I mean, that's what we're doing here with Nerd Bacon, and what we're doing with the channel and things like that. We don't have a channel to help people and help them get funded and help get the word out about their stuff if we don't have a platform.
And
Yes, I can attest to that.
Yeah, yes, you can. You've got to have a platform to stand on, and so you have to work on it. And Zaslav's knows, doesn't matter what his ideology is, if his company's hemorrhaging money, he's not going to have a company to use, to have, to be able to mobilize, to do any kind of good in the world. And that's, you just kind of got to come in there and detach yourself from those things and do what's difficult. And sometimes that's cleaning house. Sometimes that's firing people. That, man, they're good people. I like them. They're nice. But you know what? Sometimes they're Kevin Malones. They're not smart. They're not a good accountant. There's no reason to have them on the payroll. Here's again, to quote The Office, there's a scene where somebody else buys the company, and her name's Jo, and it's what is the actress's name? I love her. She was in that COVID brain. I forget the names of things.
Slow, breathe.
She's been in a lot of things. She was in that one where Khan was in it, and she breaks his ankles. She ties him to the bed, breaks his ankles. What was that movie?
Kathy Bates.
Misery.
Yeah,
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates is in this.
Catherine Bates.
Yeah, she's a fantastic actress.
Yeah.
Actress, man. But she's doing this. She's playing this character, and Michael hires his nephew, right? And she's like, "Look, I have a nephew. I'll let him sleep on my couch, but I won't let him work for me because he's an idiot, right?" Now, there's people like, dude, I'll let him hang out, and they can come chill out with me. I'll buy him lunch. I'll help him out, but I'm not putting them on my payroll because they're incompetent. They're and I think that's what happens. You've got these people. They've hired their friends. They've hired people they like, and yeah, you want to protect their jobs and preserve their livelihood, but they're going to sink the ship, folks, and they're doing that. And when people come in to fire them, you want to make it about politics and say there's some kind of anti or a phobe or an ist. Maybe what they are is anti losing money and anti hemorrhaging cash, which is what's happening over there, right?
Yeah.
And so, you've got to.
That's the thing. Like they want to give it like a conservative tinge to this thing, and this is capitalism. It's just like, dude, these employees are a detriment to the company. If your hand has gangrene, you cut it off.
You have to cut it
off.
off.
Yeah, poor hand. I mean, it smells like almonds.
It smells like almonds.
Salt. Get that
smells
salt,
like almonds.
man.
That ain't coffee. That's not a snack.
Yeah. Get that salt, man, because
Yeah.
it's not going to work. And I mean, it's about time. I think it's past time. Like somehow, and I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a Latino pessimist, but I think we're way past the time to rescue these IPs because they're being completely damaged. Like it's like 100% like identity politics. It's not
You're making everybody gay.
Yeah, and
everybody's
it's not
gay or bi or something.
It's not entertaining at all. Like Spider Wheels, I'm all about like inclusion and whatever, but the story is poorly written. The character is not appealing. I don't want to read it. That doesn't make me a bad person. Maybe it does. Like at this point, I don't care if they think I'm a bad person. I'm not buying your book.
Hojo says I'd walk anybody with a name has a name on the door. He'd tell them to vacate the premises.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean, because you're right. And it's almost like at this point they're doing it to spite things. And I have a good friend who's in the queer community, big proponent of LGBT and all of that, and a great guy, a very creative individual. I'm looking forward to working with him on a project at some point. A very creative writer, and I'm looking forward to working with this guy. But we were having a conversation, and he was like, I'm watching he goes, me and my partner, we're watching the WB, and we're like, why is everybody gay? Like this isn't representation anymore. It's like they're cramming it down, but they've eliminated every other thing, and it's like it's pandering at this point. He goes, it's almost offensive what they're doing. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad I'm not just the only one that noticed. I mean, as a Christian, I'm like, I always thought, well, maybe I just noticed that they include those things more because of my background and how I was raised.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I ever noticed that before. Like I had friends that were gay, never even really noticed. They didn't care. you know, it's like whatever. It's like I just won't take my pants off in front of you.
So
I don't
Yeah,
wanna-
So I think even if we didn't have all this political baggage now signed with these, assigned to these different IPs, I think they're just old hat at this point. I mean, how many times do we have to see Superman retold or Batman
Right,
retold or I mean,
if
even
I have to see the Waynes get shot one more time,
Oh, yeah.
so help me.
I mean,
The
it's
pearls.
and so
I'm gonna grab
someone,
Nick's equalizer.
Someone posted on Twitter and asked, hey, which of the IPs would you want to pick up? And it's like none. I don't want anything to do with any of this
Chrome
stuff.
Dog? I'd like to
I want
pick
to
up Chrome
create
Dog.
my own stuff. Exactly. I want to build out my own world.
Right.
Build up Chrome Dog. Build up
Hear about Zero?
Thunder
I'd like to-
Horse that's coming.
Yeah, I like that. I'd like to
He's
see him.
he's coming along, and then also nice. Thank you. And
I'll tell you,
and then yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry, Justin. I didn't mean to step on you.
Well, just to put a button on it, like I'm looking forward to introducing my villains and heroes and the struggle that I'm trying to portray to the masses or the slice of the masses that would have it.
Exactly.
Mass.
Right.
the-
So, but
Oh,
but I definitely want to say this. I'm not interested in anything having to do with live action. However, I think animation has a future with at least the Ringgold verse. And that's what
Oh,
I'll-
let me tell you something. Nick and I have a lot of fun conversations off the air, and some of them make it onto Nerd Bacon. And one of the things we were talking about the other day was how every animation from these studios that's on streaming, how the storytelling is so much better there than it is in the movies live action stuff, because no one's overseeing it. They don't care about the animation stuff. They think it's it's not a big deal. So the people that are working on it are people that love the stories and they have an appreciation for the source material and they produce really good product.
Yeah.
And they're so entertaining.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I do not care and I want to make it literal. The only reason I am aware of what goes on in the DC like movie universe is because of these shows where people talk about it. It's like, oh, there's a whatever. The live actions, I haven't cared since Superman Returns. I mean, I just haven't cared. Now the animation has been incredible.
I haven't even seen that movie yet. Like I've just never I watched Man of Steel. Of course that was the most recent, but yeah, I skipped it. I just was
And it's funny because
compelling
that
to me.
one felt a lot like an updated version of the Christopher Reeves era.
yeah. So why
I mean,
should I
it's
watch
really-
it? Let me go back
that
and watch
one
Christopher
is-
The
Reeves
last
It-
Superman
it's-
thing that I liked was Smallville.
with Terrence Stamp. Let me have General Zod. The original General
Yeah.
Zod.
But I enjoyed Smallville because it told a part of the story that in a new and interesting way that had not been told before. I love the idea that in junior high, Lex and Clark were friends. That they
that
chased
reminds
after the
me-
same girls and all that. That appealed to me.
I definitely need to go
that was
back
in
and
the
watch
books, too,
those.
so.
I need to watch those, and I need to watch Gotham. I really want to watch.
I want to watch
go back
Gotham.
and watch
I've not
Gotham.
watched Gotham.
I never allocated that time.
So
I
Very-
spent too much
the-
time watching Harry Bosch on Amazon Prime.
The
But
very
there's my
best
plug.
thing about Gotham is their casting. Their casting is dead on. Some of their writing is incredible, and the guy that they got to do or be Alfred is
Yeah.
Sean Pertwee's
Awesome.
Sean Pertwee.
son.
John Pertwee, yeah. Which
Yeah, John
boy, what I
Pertwee's son.
would love to see him do.
He should have been in Doctor
a
Who.
doctor.
Yeah.
He has basically refused to.
Yeah,
Boy,
out
boy
of
would I
respect
love
for
to
his
see
dad.
him.
Yeah,
But boy, would I love him to see. Would I love to see him play his dad?
I
Yeah.
would.
I
I
would
would
see
too.
play
It'd be
Pertwee's
perfect.
doctor.
Yep.
In just give us one episode, or give us one movie, because he's such a good actor. His
Oh, yeah.
dad was such an amazing actor. One of my favorite doctors who goes completely overlooked, but he was the 007 doctor. That whole vibe, those stories for me were some of the most compelling and exciting Doctor Who
yeah.
stories.
The third was amazing. I really think Doctor Who basically peaked 3, 4, 5.
Oh yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
And that was the peak of Doctor Who. And then I think Eccleston on that topic is the most overlooked and maligned falsely Doctor. He did such an incredible
Yes.
job.
Yes, and I
And-
love him as an actor anyway. Like,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he just, as a rule,
Oh my
it's like
gosh.
there's some law
yes.
that nobody treats him with the respect he deserves.
Well, there's a couple of things going on with Eccleston. He did not. He only agreed to do one season, right? But
Yeah.
he doesn't. He doesn't embrace the fandom, and that's why he's not adored more.
Oh, he's
People
done
that
a couple of conventions in the past.
Yeah,
He's
When it's probably
starting
when he's
to.
needed the
he's
money.
not. He's not a Matt Smith.
Yeah, no.
Well,
you know,
he's
or
also
David Tennant.
he's also Scottish, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not that we're going to hold it against him. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure
Over.
the doctors have.
I'm
the
feeling
best
a vibe
doctors-
now. I'm feeling a vibe now.
You feeling a
I'm
vibe?
the Scottish. Yeah, we're profiling the Scottish.
Yeah.
hey, news for you. I'm Scottish, so
Yeah,
it's okay.
that's all right.
Right?
There you go.
But no, and that's one of the things that was very endearing about him when he played Destro. I loved him in
yes.
G.I. Joe, and then but my favorite of all time Eccleston moment was in Gone in 60 Seconds when he was playing the bad guy. I was like,
yes.
oh my gosh, this guy's awesome. I want to watch everything from now on that he's in.
Oh, he's a great actor. Yeah, but yeah.
Now, I see we're talking about great story and great writing. I stumbled onto something because we have Disney Plus, through a relative. And they've started releasing, I don't know if they were DVD extras or something, but I want to say his name is Kevin Feige.
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 Feige. The only guy in Disney who can write. And he did these little, they call them one-shots, and they're like 3 or 4 minutes long. And I guess they came out in like the 2011, 2012 era.
Yeah, it was during Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. But they
Agents of
were,
S.H.I.E.L.D. show.
because
Yeah.
I just found them and I mainlined them, and I'm like, there's better writing, more compelling story in these little glimpses than were in like several of the main movies I've seen. Like and the plot is Coulson goes to a gas station on his way to deal with the hammer incident.
Yeah.
And somebody's robbing it.
Well, okay.
3 minutes, and I'm
so
like,
here's the deal. Little things like that require you to have a beginning, middle, and end very concisely.
yes,
It's the same as what we're doing with the Out of Obscurity anthology that
Yes.
we're doing, where we're taking a public domain character and you're writing 4 to 6 pages. You have to have a beginning, middle, and end. It has to be a completely self-contained story. That is a challenge of writing skill to do that. But it also requires that you cut out all of the fat. It means that you can't overlap different story ideas and thoughts. You can't have overlapping stories being told. You have to tell a single story in 4 to 6 pages, beginning, middle, and end. You get roughly a page to 2 pages to do that. Okay, if 6 pages, 2 pages for your first act, 2 pages for your second, 2 for your third, and it challenges your writing to the point to where it makes you cut out all the stuff that is needed and unnecessary, and focus only on the story that needs to be told. And some of the best things that you will see will come from that. Look at what look at the movies that have been made from short stories from Stephen King. You know, I love The Green Mile.
Yep.
Right? Great. That was a short story.
no, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it was a set of
that
serialized books.
It was a serialized book, and the serial volumes were about that thick.
Yeah.
Because I have a bunch of them rolling around somewhere.
Welcome, Don Chen. Thank you, Don Chen, for the super chat. Appreciate it very, very much.
Hey, Dan.
Good morning, Luke and friends. Just wanted to say, keep up the great creative work. Could use prayers. His wife and I are under the weather this week. Well, we are definitely praying for you, Don. Don is a great friend of the show. Definitely supported my family while I was in the hospital. I know that we have several people of faith that watch our show and are in the chats right now, and that watch in playback. please give out a prayer for Don and his wife for me, and just ask that God heal their body and bless them. And good people. I don't think they don't come much better than Don. They don't come much better than Don. Yeah, it is. Yes.
Bravo, Luke. Because one, you said something very caring and you're supporting, and you resisted the urge to say that's what she said. And I'm shocked that I'm genuinely surprised that you didn't. It's like, for a second, your pork boy just sort of disappeared from your head. Like, if we rewound that, there were a few frames where it just blinked out, your pork pie, and you like were Pastor Luke for a second, then it just
flickers
back in.
Just flickered in and out. Yeah. But no. Yeah.
Well, speaking of terminology, I appreciate your use of the term mainlining a while ago, Nick. You mainlining this content. It's like, yep, that's pretty much what we're doing. It's an addiction.
Well, and that's that's a big part of what we're doing. Like I said, what you said, we're doing it, but we need to realize that, because what we take in visually, what we take in audibly, is just as effective in changing us as what we eat. And we're feeding the soggy bacon that's that's piloting the meaty mech that we are. And
the meaty mech.
That's what we are, Yeah. And it's fascinating when if you watch drivel all the time, that just the jokes about brain rot. It rots your brain. It really does. Poorly written stuff rots your brain. It just makes it easier to be dumber because we're inherently lazy.
That's what's wrong with the society around us.
Yeah.
They've been ingesting garbage.
We've been ingesting. I'm serious.
I'm telling you this. Some of this is the literary equivalency of junk food.
Yes. And the thing is, people get caught up by, this looks pretty, so it must be junk, and that's what comic books have dealt with forever. They're only just beginning to recognize that it is a form of literature. It deserves study, and you need to study what people actually read. Mm-hmm. And when you see all this, I hate to say it, but I can walk into a comic shop, and there are very few titles I'm even interested to look at enough to buy. And you flip through and it's like, wow.
I bought a new comic book this last week because number one, I love the character. I'm a big fan of Gambit, and so Gambit has a new number 1 out.
Cool.
And I was really surprised when I picked up the book and I opened it up to the first page. It was written by Chris Claremont. And I'm like, oh, this should be good. So I'm really looking forward to reading that book. I haven't read it yet because, I've been busy shipping books out to everybody else. But I'm very much looking forward to that.
My habit is I've just pivoted completely to indie comics, and so when I look at these back issues, the only exception I'll make is if I see an artist that I know of in our circles now, then I'll like an Ethan Van Sciver or Aaron Lepresti. If I see something from back in the day that was that they has their name attached to it, then I might consider picking it up. But I'm generally just kind of picking up either old indie titles or even some just discarded fresher indie stuff. Like one example is Source Point Press, which is a current press that's out there, and they're doing this. There's this book series that they did called Broken Gargoyles. And oh my gosh, it is it's diesel punk and just fantastic.
Familiar with Source Point. In fact, Zim's
so
probably
good.
More familiar with Source Point than any of us is basically in his backyard up there. And,
nice. Really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all he's going to say about that. That's all he's going to say about that.
After that.
Yep.
Broken Gargoyles is good.
My apologies.
No, you don't have to apologize to me. What you like, you like. That's awesome.
Yeah.
If it's comics,
you're reading comic books. I mean,
dude, I have a problem though, because I'm so immersed in servicing the CG community that all I do is work, but my work is so entertaining to me that I'm not watching anything.
There you go.
And yeah, like I don't know, like I've never been this happy. Like I'm really dude. Like I'm always like, hey, can you do a trailer for me? Can you like? I'm discussing animation. I'm just really excited. So thank you, Marvel and DC, for liberating my time.
Right? Yeah.
I can do what I love.
You know, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't have time to. If I take in entertainment, it's usually in the form of fail videos on YouTube. I don't listen to a lot of these long streams these days anymore because they've become more and more negative from people. Instead of talking about the positive things that are out there, you know, the fun creative stuff that's there, that it used to be about. You know, some of them they're getting very. It's all about who the recent beef is with and things like that. You know, and it's about trying to get those, you know, the shock jock kind of value and super chats from that kind of stuff. And I'm like, it's just not that interesting to me.
I get in the mood for that every once in a while.
Every once in a while, yeah.
But when I do,
it's like really spicy food.
But when I do, I turn the playback timing way up.
Yeah,
to like 1.75 or 2. That way, it's just chipmunks arguing with each other. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's smart. Yeah. And usually it's while I'm working on something. Yeah, because sometimes you are in the mood for that. You know, sometimes you've eaten healthy all week, and it's time for some deep fried Twinkies.
Bacon.
You know, and so you want to ingest some of that kind of stuff. But I can't. My whole life can't be around that. I just can't do that.
No. You know how much negativity you need to have in your life, you know, that before you just have to put a stop to it and go listen or do something positive, you know.
Yeah,
that's why
the only way you stay sane.
Yeah, that's why.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's why I try not to produce negative stuff, and I try to promote positive stuff. I just want to remind folks we're 16 days out from the launch of Frog G, Voodoo Gods and Magic. And
16 days, man.
It's not like I'm counting down. It's just I want to see y'all. I don't usually call out folks, but there's some karmic debt I think most people have to Mr. Frog G.
Yes.
Dude, I don't know. Like I'm working on something for Frog G as we speak. So.
See?
Well, brother.
Yeah.
And like, everybody knows I'm broke. I had 2 cars go down this week, this month actually, and it's now the prices are hitting. But I'm going to promote the hell out of that. Pardon my French a bit, but
if I wanted to deal with that much drama, I'd call my ex, says Johnny.
What?
Yeah. Oh.
I just can't deal with it all the time.
Right there.
Ding.
And, the other thing that upsets me though, about some of this stuff is, you know, Frog G promotes real world comics and we promote comics and you know, we're about, you know, these good stories and good creators and cool people. And what's happening a lot of times is I used to think it was a manufactured drama, like in theater, where, you know, whenever somebody was getting ready to launch a project, there was always some kind of beef or some kind of drama. Yeah, there was some kind of outrage.
And along that line, I honestly think lately, like within the last couple of years, some of these larger corporations are capitalizing on that by running negative bots out there and then going to the press and complaining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because who's got time to bitch about this stupid minutia stuff?
Nobody.
You know, and they're yelling about not Wonder Woman, She-Hulk, and how terrible it is, and it's crappy, and we're being bombarded by all these negative bots and all of this, and yet they've already run spots from people at Disney Plus that have shown it's the lowest viewed show that Marvel's ever done to date, and that includes lower than Ms. Marvel.
Ouch.
Yeah,
which is bad.
It's like
I'd like to.
The dots aren't connecting because if people were legitimately bitching about this, they'd be watching the show.
Right.
And here's the thing: I haven't said anything about She-Hulk because She-Hulk is, as many already know, is like one of my most favorite and cherished Marvel superheroes, hands down. But as soon as I saw that trailer, I was like, okay. And even then, before then, I was already out. Like the 3rd episode of Moon Knight, I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done, 100% done with anything Marvel beyond Infinity War.
Well, I've got a lot
So-
more complaints about Moon Knight than I do about She-Hulk.
Right,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah, and I did watch Miss Marvel just because my grandfather's from that region of the world. So I really wanted to look at what they did in Karachi, for example. And it was a lost opportunity to tell a very compelling story of the separation of India and Pakistan. Like they didn't touch. It was very like shallow.
Yeah.
And these guys are shallow. They're shallow writers.
Yeah.
They have no interest. It's just like, look, she's Pakistani, but
Well,
nothing of
so
substance.
so I think there's an element that we're not really addressing here is that the corporate overlords need more content. They need it now. They needed it yesterday, and so they're really pushing these people to make this stuff. And I'll make this one point.
Yeah.
I think Matrix Resurrections
Oh.
is. I think I want to say this. I know that just some guy is he's anathema these days, but
Right.
he had a really good take on it, and that is that movie was a troll by the creators to kind of put a finger in the eye of Warner Brothers to say, look, we're not we're not telling the story again. We're not going, we're not dipping back into this well. We told a succinct story in 3 movies. We're done. We did all the merch push. We did all the stuff that we're gonna do with this property, and that's that. And so that movie, the reason it is so bad is because they said, okay, you're forcing us to make this movie, so we're gonna make it the way that we're just gonna troll you guys.
Really,
And,
they told a succinct story in one movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's true,
First
100%,
Matrix is classic.
100%, 100%. Just
Yeah,
the
I started
movie
to watch that
and
movie
have
and
the
I stopped.
online video game, and they could have stopped.
The other 2 are confusing, and I think they did it on purpose.
Well,
And then
here's the
that
thing.
last one was mislabeled because it shouldn't have been Matrix Resurrection. It should have been Matrix Regurgitation.
Nice.
Well, so here's the
That's
deal.
exactly
that would have
I
been
should've
that would
called
have been one tuck over the line though. That would have really overplayed their hand. So I
Yeah, it
think
would've.
they.
Probably.
Yeah.
What about Matrix? Whatever.
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 But here's the deal, though. I mean, I think that the other 2 movies from an allegorical sense, past the first one, were good. I felt like, you know, because I understood the allegory and what they were trying to say, and the story they were trying to tell, and I appreciated it
Okay.
for what it was.
I
but-
have a rant on, I want to say, Matrix 2 that
Alright,
has
let's
to
hear it.
come out because we're on a comic book show.
Okay. Nice.
I-
Bring it.
I loved Witchblade. Like the first volumes of Witchblade when it came out, it was amazing. And I'm watching my way through Matrix 2, and I'm like, wow, that looks like frame for frame. Oh, you got back in. Wonderful.
I'm in.
Bunny's
I'm
in the
in.
house.
Frame for
Literally.
frame, it looks like they used Witchblade for this shot. I'm looking at it, I'm like, that looks familiar. And I happen to have it out, flipping up. And I flip to the page where someone's trying to run down Ian Nottingham. And he jumps up and does the katana drag and cuts into the car and kills the driver. And I look up and I'm like, no, they wouldn't. And at that exact moment, first time I watched that movie, you see Morpheus do the jump and the katana drag. I'm like, mother!
They're ripping off Witchblade.
I just the level of shame.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that's one of those that will always get that.
That television series was Image in a just a nutshell. First
It was
season
so good.
was coherent. First season had a great storyline. First season was a complete arc. Second season, shit show. Complete total shit show.
Well,
like-
it doesn't
no
help
idea
that
what to do.
Butler
They had
had a
no idea what to do.
horrendous alcohol problem that went.
Well,
nuts.
I mean, yeah, but the writing was just like
Well, yeah.
miserable. They had no idea what to do with Nottingham after that first season. Brilliant character. They had no idea what to do. As soon as the main villain was gone, and then they brought the dead guy back, who was like her like her Jiminy Cricket, and
They
they just didn't know what to do with it.
And I think that is probably one of the most difficult things as a writer.
Yep.
So we're getting ready to do sign up for issue 9 of Hybrids, and we've got 12 issues that are planned to deal with our antagonist. And the antagonist is always the most important feature of your story, because that's where your conflict comes from. You know, if there's not a conflict, there's not a story. You know, that's the way.
You are cheating a little bit, though. You know, because nobody's a bigger antagonist than the freaking demon, man.
Right, yeah. So,
where do you go beyond
the
demon,
actual freaking demon that started the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm starting big, right? Yep. But that's the thing. Like, I know that I want to do more beyond,
right?
And so I'm putting a lot of thought into what the conflict is going to be. Where you see like a show like that, you know, concise, it makes a full story.
Yep.
They do away with their antagonist, and then they have to find a new one. And the second antagonist sometimes is not as good as the first, which is so something that I've been working on in manufacturing now is who do we go to beyond Azazel? Like, who is like, what is going to make this story good? And so you have to take the time to think about those things when you're telling a story. And Justin, you're absolutely right. At the fever pitch at which they're wanting these creatives to produce material, it is sometimes difficult to put in the time to think about it, because they don't know that it's going to go beyond a season. Why am I going to spend all the time to work on this when I'm not going to get a season 2, if I'm going to get a season 2? And because they didn't put the time into it, you don't get a season 2. It just doesn't happen.
No.
And but to go back to what I was saying earlier, just kind of roll back around. I used to think that all of the drama was manufactured simply for sales. It's like, so-and-so is about to have a campaign going, so it's about time for them to have some drama with somebody, and lo and behold, they've got some drama with somebody. Well, just so happens they've got drama with somebody that's got a campaign that's either running or about to run, and it's like, this is all theater. It's just entertainment. It's they've taken the reality show
conspiracy
aspect of
theory.
life.
It's a conspiracy theory.
Well, that's what I used to think. I used to think it's just like they're taking reality show stuff, putting it on YouTube, and selling books for it. You know, buy my book because the SJWs did this, or buy my book because the big bad frogman, hurt me here. You know, it's like it's kind of one of those things. Like that's just what it is. It's just how they sell books, right?
Fight evil, back my campaign.
Right, yeah. I mean, but if they were like a little bit more on the nose with that and did it like wrestling, it would be freaking awesome.
Right? Yeah, it'd be like, okay,
yeah,
this
it's
is fun.
kayfabe. It's all kayfabe.
But when you say you used to, what do you think now?
See, that's the problem. What I think now is I think that people started taking comic books. I take comic books seriously, but I take the medium, the art form seriously. But people started getting in real world fights over cartoons.
Well, like I said, I think that's been a marketing tool here for a little bit from the bigger companies pushing these genre shows. So they're expecting people to hate.
People are losing their livelihoods, and in some cases, almost their life.
Yeah, dude. But the thing
over comic books. People are swatting guys like Peter Samedi over comic books. You idiots! That is a dangerous thing.
Yeah,
people making death threats. Yep. People going to people's houses.
Yeah,
and defacing their property. Like, what is wrong with you?
Doug's
you little
mailbox.
Twat. Yep. Like, this is the real world. You're fighting over comic books. They're going out and they're putting out photos of people with dildos all over their faces and stuff like that. They're making these campaigns against people. When grown men rally around comic books and think that they're in some kind of a war, like, come on, dude.
That's when we need a real war.
Yeah.
So they can get the definition of what it is.
Right, yeah. Like, stop it. Stop being stupid.
I will say this, though. There is an overarching war that we do need to acknowledge and start fighting, and that is the culture war. However, what they're doing is not fighting the culture war. What they're doing is cannibalizing each other.
Right, exactly. Yep. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, and Don's right. Pete does not deserve that crap. Here's the deal, though. Here's the deal. We have been in a culture war for a long time, and I think we've kind of already lost it because we didn't know we were fighting it.
No,
We were like, no, this wasn't happening. Right? You're like, wait a second, that's stupid, whatever.
Right.
Seriously,
Right.
no one really thinks like that. And then the next thing you know, you're like, oh, wait a second, it's gone too far.
They do think like that. They do
think like that, and it has gone too far. And then now it's like, oh, well, when you do pushback, well, now you're a Nazi, you're a phobe, you're an ist. And you're like, no, wait. I'm none of those things. I just don't like that you are selling me crazy and telling me that I have to buy it.
Well, see, Charles Krauthammer said it best, and he told us this was happening, and none of us knew what nobody knew how accurate he was being at the time. But he said the difference between in the culture war, the difference is one side thinks the other is misguided, and the other side thinks the other is evil.
Right.
And when you think somebody is evil, then anything you do to fight them is justified. Any underhanded,
I think that any
you can go
person,
scorched earth.
I think any person that uses the term woke is misguided.
Yeah.
I think they have never actually gone out and touched grass. Let's go have some reality. Let's look at some other people's experience. Let's talk to some other people. Let's survey some folks. Let's, instead of staying in our room on our cameras all day, let's go outside. This is fine.
Yeah.
But that's real life there. Let's go out there and talk with our neighbor. I've got a crazy conspiracy theory neighbor right over there. I can see his front door from here.
Those are the best.
One of my favorite things to do is to go out and talk to him. And someone said, and it really tightens my writing chops too.
Yeah.
Because I'll make up these.
Luke is gaslighting the guy.
Oh, I will make up.
He's
Like he'll
gaslighting
say
him.
something, and I'll think, man, wouldn't it be cool if, because my book's all about conspiracy theory stuff like that. I love conspiracy theories, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I'll get these ideas that I was like, I wonder if this would work out in the hybrid universe. Well, let me just try it out, right? So I'll just like, well, you know what I think is. And then I'll just give him my new plot point, right? And he's like, yeah, that's it. And he gets all, I'm like, oh, it does work. And someone goes, well, Luke, isn't that reckless? I go, well, yes, it is.
Well, you should go out in the yard, Luke. You should go out in the yard and kind of like stare up and wait till he comes over to ask what's going on. And you're just like, you didn't see that flying low hanging?
You didn't see that?
Plane? You didn't see that?
You didn't see that?
I wouldn't take
here's the deal.
responsibility, man. I wouldn't take responsibility because you staring at the sky will trigger him.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, that's his nature.
But here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
He is 75 years old and he's retired, and he stays over in
God
that
bless
house
him.
watching Fox News. And here's the deal. He's harmless. He's harmless.
Right.
But it gives he and I something to talk about.
He's 75 years old. Are you really sure that those are conspiracy theories?
Right.
Conspiracy facts.
Sometimes he's got more years on me. Sometimes I have to.
The funny thing about these conspiracy theories, a lot of times they turn out
They
not true.
keep coming true though, Luke.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, some of the stuff he says is a little out there.
Because seriously, there's been too many deathbed confessions from too many people that were involved in Roswell for it not to be
Here's
real.
the deal. In 2020, the world was going to crap, and they said, "Oh, by the way, aliens are real.
Yeah.
UFOs. We've been hiding the information for years. Though we've declassified it. There's UFOs.
No,
We're turning the Proxgate, and we're turning the Proxgate.
And everybody goes, whatever.
Yeah.
Can I get it? Can we?
That's the point that we're at in society.
Why
you did
not?
What? You got video of what? I've seen video like that 20 years ago.
And that's the other thing. Like, aliens only visit the U.S., and I feel left out and discriminated against. I haven't seen a UFO case in Panama ever. What's up with that?
I don't know. Maybe they don't like Panama. Maybe
Probably
they just like the United States.
It's too hot. It's too hot for this.
Maybe they just like the Pacific Northwest. Or something.
Mojo's very true.
No, that's Bigfoot.
He said these people have no idea what war
the
is.
aliens are studying Bigfoot, guys.
Oh.
No, think about it. They're studying Bigfoot. They they're trying to do genetic research on stuff. That's why they probe they do the cattle mutilations. They're trying to figure out what the deal with Bigfoot is.
Well, you know what Mitch Hedberg said, right?
but this like 7 foot, 8 foot dude that nobody can track. I mean, he's got to have like holographic
Ninja skills. Yeah.
I know what Mitch said, and he's right.
He's got the chameleon fur, and he just predators his way through.
Well, Mitch Hedberg says that the Sasquatch doesn't frighten me. What frightens me is there's an 8 foot furry man out there that's blurry.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's talk about this for a second. There's
Let's talk about 8 foot blurry man.
Sure. Mount Everest, okay, wherever that place is located.
Nepal.
Nepal. Yeah.
I know it's Nepal.
Wow, America! That's
Nepal.
So in Nepal, the people there around that, they have masks of different animals, and one of the animals they have is a Yeti.
Yeah.
A mask that they will, that they have there. And so they've got all these stories, and they actually have, information about Yeti.
Yep.
And their Yeti looks an awful lot like the skunk ape in Florida, and a lot like Bigfoot in the Canadian region.
Wendigo.
And,
yeah.
In the Wendigo and all those kinds of things,
no.
right? And not the
Wendigo.
But
Not Wendigo?
Not Wendigo.
No, but so you've got all these kind of things going on, with that, and I'm like, well, what makes you think that they made it up? Like, I mean, what makes you think that they manufactured it? I mean, they don't have the internet. They haven't seen the video.
It's not like the American Indians were talking to the monks in Nepal.
Nepalese.
The Nepalese.
Okay, this is interesting, and I used to have the list. I'll have to find it again. There's a list of basically 14 monsters, for lack of a better word, that every single human culture has. When they find the people out in the rainforests, and they finally translate and talk to them, they have some version of these things.
Yep.
They include something like Bigfoot. They include a lycanthropy. They include vampires.
Yeah.
I mean, the details.
A Loch Ness monster.
Yeah,
Giant
actually,
snake. And the Thunderbird.
Yes,
The Thunderbird, dude. Latin
There's a lot
American
about
stories is
cryptids
always
because-
people.
Right, exactly. So it's like if these things are
Could
very
be a
similar,
pterodactyl, by the way.
then they have to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So there's some thread. And now, if you want to find out what Luke thinks about that thread, you'll have to buy my book. You don't get that crap for free. Come on,
No, hell no.
we got bills to pay around here now.
mainstream, mainline it.
Mainline that stuff. But
Always be shilling.
no,
Be shilling. There you
but
go.
my point is, look, it's fun to talk about these things, but go out and get to know somebody. Now that's just one of my neighbors. That's not all of my neighbors in this neighborhood. I've got some very interesting people that I live around, and I've got one neighbor that's got a Trump flag, and one that right across the street that's got a Biden flag, and they fly those things, I think, at each other on purpose, and it's kind of funny. It's hilarious, the interactions with this stuff. I've got a guy around here. As soon as I find out who it is, I'm gonna beat him senseless. He just will like randomly shoot off a firework at night and cause my dog to bark. And like I don't know, it's like
What
May.
is it?
It's like it's not even like May 5th. Like Cinco de Mayo. It's not even like a holiday. It's like May 19th, and it's like a Tuesday night, and boom, fireworks. I'm like, what are you doing, you? And dog starts barking and freaking out, and I'm like, and one of these days I'm just gonna find him and I'm gonna jerk a knot in his tail. But some days I wake up and I choose violence. Some days I wake up and violence chooses me.
Oh God!
Just remember, everybody, he's the one that knocks.
That's a
am.
perfect line from sounds like it would have came from Riddick.
Yeah.
I am the one who knocks.
Yeah.
Because all Riddick wants to do in those movies is just to be left alone.
Just
And people just keep coming at him, and he's like, "Okay, I got to show you again that you need to be leaving me alone."
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, I used to think that this.
If you
that
see
this
a
was all
loner with a puppy,
manufactured.
leave the puppy alone.
Yeah, I used to think it was all manufactured.
Right?
I see the mainstream. I
Heck
think
yeah,
the
oh my
mainstream
gosh.
is starting
So
to
good.
manufacture some of these this outrage to sell. Because they're not like Zim said. I mean, if that many people are complaining, you'd think that many people would be watching. But clearly the numbers aren't matching up.
No.
And we know that Twitter's full of bots. We've seen it, this whole thing with Elon Musk coming along.
Yeah.
People are
Papa Musk.
freaking out. Yeah, that there are bots like crazy going around there.
And by the way, that trial's going into discovery,
Yeah.
which is what he wanted all along.
Yep.
I'm sure some of the people that are following my channel right now are bots, Russian bots, and porn bots.
Porn bots are the best.
Oh, they are.
You know what? They are
Lovely
consistent.
lovely ladies.
Lovely little ladies.
You know,
And
they,
I know
they
many
are
of them.
consistent commenters.
That's why we have a
They
VPN, baby.
consistently Man, I mean,
Yeah.
I gotta
Eric.
fight the algorithm. The fact that I can use, another evil algorithm to fight the algorithm that opposes me does provide a certain glee of the villainous side.
Guys,
Yeah.
work is calling me. I have to leave, but dude, thank you for having me. And
problem.
dude,
Anytime, Pedro.
Yeah,
Vote for
let's do this
Pedro.
again.
Yes,
Vote
for
for Pedro.
sure.
Yeah.
Link for Pedro.
Link
Link for Pedro. Take care, guys.
See you, buddy. Have a good one.
Bye.
Later. It's all right.
It's like I talked with some people. I'm obviously in the kind of the CG camp with folks with the ideas around, the customer's king. If they're complaining, take their words seriously. Don't write them off, because they're the ones that's paying for your livelihood when they buy your content.
Yep.
So my view on that falls in line with many people that are in the Comicsgate range. I also believe that you should hire the best person for the job, and that doesn't matter who or what's between their legs, or what color they are, or any of that, or where they come from.
Oh.
Pedro obviously is getting. a
Oh,
lot of
who they
work.
sleep with?
Well, that's the who or what's between your legs thing.
Well, not necessarily. There's a little bit more nuance there.
Oh my gosh.
Not really. It's all down to sex organs.
Nick
Remember
had
that.
to
It's all
step
down
up.
to sex organs. But the
Too
other
much
thing,
DC talk. Too much
I
DC
should
talk.
I should
but
start.
the
I
other
should
thing
start
about that
talking
is,
like Ed McMahon and be like, ha 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 ha. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
yeah, huh.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the but the other thing is, like, that's why Pedro's got so much work, because he's the best guy for the job. I mean, he's doing great work. He's doing great stuff over there.
Yep.
I think if you do good work at a reasonable rate on time, you should have a lot of work. And I shouldn't get a job just because I am a diversity hire. And some of these people that are in the mainstream, they understand they're a diversity hire. And their method to get more work is, you should hire me for more work to prove that I'm not a diversity hire.
Okay.
Actual words.
Let me ask you a question. There's some escalation going on that's fascinating, okay? So one person started getting all the work because they were trans, okay? And then next thing you know, their work started getting taken away and given to this other person because they were brown and queer, okay?
Yeah.
All right? So
The laws
now
of intersectionality. Oh my God.
Now that person, their work is getting taken away because they found somebody who's person of color, bisexual, ex-sex worker, and handicapped. So I wonder who's the next queen of the progressive stack. I mean, what else could you put into that? What other check boxes?
Well, it's what they say. The revolution devours itself, and that's what happens when you start looking at laws of intersectionality and critical theory. Actually, we put race in there so people can't deny it, but it's actually
Why
critical
is it every
theory.
time I have to duck out for the bathroom, I come back from the comic book show, and it's an intense debate on like high level politics.
This is not politics. This is not high level.
Politics.
No, on
This is
political
base
theory.
level. This is base level sociology.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
what
with-
this is. It has
well,
nothing to
so
do with
within-
politics. Has nothing to do with
Well,
high
but
level.
I
It
think
comes
Nick
down to
is-
Marxism.
Right. I think Nick is talking about politics within the organization.
Right, okay.
Like,
So,
Yeah.
but critical theory and the laws of intersectionality all stem from Marxist theology, and they are designed to create outrage. That's the whole thing. So at first I thought that this was, I would look and I was like, okay, well, they're just doing this to sell books. This is theater. But people started taking it serious. And that's when I started noticing the Marxist theology, laws of intersectionality. And now if you disagree with me, you're no longer just misguided. Now you're the enemy. You're evil in some way because you're this, or this. And the problem is when you start adding in all of these things, it comes to a point where you can't come back from it. It was made public the other day about now I am not here to say that anybody is a good guy in this situation, because I think everyone in here in this situation had some failing and failed one another and failed themselves and failed their reputations all at the same time.
That's spicy.
Yeah. So I am familiar and part of a kind of extended circle, I guess, with a guy named Liam Gray. He is very controversial. He's been in a lot. The last thing that I really knew about Liam was I had watched a live stream on Tug's channel. That Umbrella guy. Don't know Tug, but I do know Lola, and she's a fantastic human being. And so I'm not going to speak ill.
Love you, Lolo.
Yeah, I would never speak ill of either one of them, because my experience with Lola is great, and I don't know Tug.
They're fellow Tennesseans, by the way.
Yeah, and I just don't know. I haven't talked with him, and I think when you get to the point where people are always coming after you, you always expect people to come after you, which is what's happening with Rippa right now. Everybody's an enemy, because everybody seems to be an enemy. But in the situation here, like, there was drama going back and forth and between him and John Delarose, who's been on the show before. And so I saw this video and the fight me, John, and the fook you thing. It's like, and it was comedic. It was like, and I thought, things haven't changed while I've been asleep. It's all been pretty much the same, and more manufactured drama to sell books, But I got put into a private group by Liam, in which, I'm friends with a couple of people and I'll talk with them. And I started to notice, like, wait a second. Some people are taking this very, very seriously. This is not a joke. Like we've got, like, this is not this is not theater. It's not a story to them. Like, this is mental health issues. This is people that are struggling with things that have gotten wrapped up in this, and they think it's real. And it's people now are getting mad on both sides, and it's real world fights. It's not fake. It's not to sell a book. And it comes down to something that was intended and should have been kept private, not secret, but private, and it was made public by Yellow Flash, who I don't follow. And then it was mentioned again by Tug, which upset a lot of the people that are in this group that I'm in, that this information had come out the way that it did, because it was. Now I here's what I'll say this. I'll say this, that Liam did, and this is not for clicks and likes and all that kind of stuff, okay? This is to talk about the sad state of where we're at, right? Where the hate and the manufactured stuff and the fighting, where it turns into something real. And at some point we got to step back and say, whoa. Reset. This is too much. Liam, who's done a lot to damage his own reputation and has been a part of a lot of the manufactured drama with a lot of people for a while now. When you've got to look at some point, you've got to look at the dead bodies, and like look at the wake of bodies around someone. And if there's a lot of dead bodies, then they're probably not innocent. And so there's no innocence I'm claiming on Liam's part. But what happened was everything that was going on had a real impact in his mental health. And he posted a suicide note, which then got leaked to somebody that then went public. Now, I will say this. I will commend the people that are his friends, because people in the States saw that. And as soon as they saw that, they were on the phone, international phone calls to the police, trying to give the last known address to try to find the guy. And they did find Liam, and he's in hospital now, getting the medical help that he needs. And I can hope he can heal from all of this internet drama. Sometimes people just don't need to be on the internet, and they need to not be on the internet, even in the mentions. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because now people are fighting over whether posting it is right or wrong, or, who's the enablers and who's actually hurting people. And at the end of the day, there's still one guy that's losing, and he keeps losing because of people that enable, because of people that exploit. Because you don't have to invite him on your streams, because if you bring somebody that's struggling with their mental health right now, and they continue to behave and respond the same way over and over again, and you put them in a situation where they're going to respond in a negative way, that is your fault. You're the adult. You're supposed to be smart here. You're the intelligent one. If you take a caged rat, rile it up, and then drop it in the middle of a group of kindergartners, and it starts to bite people, look what that rat did. That's a terrible rat. No, jackass. Look what you did. You're the one that did it. They keep blaming the guns for school shootings. Look at the people that are doing it. Who's riling up that rat and sending them into the mix, right?
That big red SUV that kept running into parades. Yep.
I'm to the point to where I'm like, come on, guys. I used to think it was fake, but people are now starting to think it's real, which means that it's becoming real for people. And we have to step back and say, you know what? Screw the super chats. Screw I don't like their politics. I don't like that they make a comic book and they happen to align with Comicsgate, or that they're anti-Comicsgate, or you know what? I don't care for the concept behind Spider Wheels or Sun Spider or whatever. I'm not interested in that. Guess what? I'm not going to buy. I'm not going to buy that. I might mention the fact that I'm not interested in it, but it's not going to get the majority of my thought. And what's happening is all of this negative just keeps being brought up, and all of the shows are negative, and everything's hate. Everything's look who's hating me, and everyone has to have the last word. Somebody's got to be the grown-ups, or we're going to completely implode. There is a culture war that's happening, but you're not fighting the culture war anymore.
No.
Like what you said, Coop. You're devouring yourselves. You're devouring one another. For what?
Well, I the other day I saw somebody posted another Mark Brooks rant, right? And he's just saying the same old thing as always. And I was like, why do we even care? Why do we even care? Why is it? Why even?
We're
why
getting
we
people
engaging
fired.
with this guy?
This whole thing started. Like, I don't want to say the whole thing started, but part of this thing started because they didn't like EVS's personality and his politics, so they got him fired. Right? They didn't like that. They made up stories about him to get him fired. They went after Richard Meyer's job to get him fired from his real world
and
job.
His kids.
To shut him, and his kids. Come on. And now you've got, and the left and the right are equally as bad at this.
Yep.
It's on both sides. It's like these people don't understand the hierarchy of social interactions. They don't understand it, and they're petulant, and they keep this cycle because everybody has to have the last word. Everybody wants to surround themselves with yes men. Nobody's going to say, nobody's looking and be like, look, I really like you. You're really talented. You're entertaining sometimes. But dude, you need to back off. Like, that you're out of line. I mean, come on. Like, we're grown-ups here. You still have some professionalism. Where's your professionalism? You don't tell a customer to F off because you don't like them. That's not what we do. If that same person that tells the Marvel reader to F off because you don't like their book, that same person, if they walk in to the 7-Eleven and the cashier says, hey, and they tell the cashier, hey, I want a pack of smokes and I want a lottery card, and they told you to F off, you'd throw a fit. You'd Karen out on them. Right? So what makes it okay in your field just because your field is politically motivated. Because you've chosen to make it politically motivated. It's,
Well,
I mean,
it's all kayfabe.
It's ridiculous.
It's all kayfabe. It's all nebulous. It's like, walk away. There's nothing for escalation. Only it keeps escalating until somebody just starts walking away.
I like what Hojo says. Sometimes just don't click send. Type it out. Type out your hateful rant and tweet, and then don't click send. You know how many times I delete what I'm about to say?
Oh, that's all the time.
Because that way I can read through it and I'm like, okay, yeah, that might be a little out of line.
Yep.
And then sometimes I still send something mean. Just not as mean. Marv wants to know, it's like, nobody can't say anything about them. Should we stop saying what we are and believe? No, we shouldn't stop. But at some point, we have to stop fighting the same way they fight. We have to be like, look, it's done. It's over. We won, or you won, or whatever, right? In a situation like Liam, look, he got off internet, stopped streaming. It's like, give him some time to come back, whatever. You won. Way to go. Find your next beef. Do it, all right? It's like the situation with Varian Grant that we have with Indie Volt, and the situation. Nobody in this room can be as angry about them as Zem and I, because of what we were going through on our deathbeds. Zem more than me, because he lost way more money than I did, right?
I spent way more money. I haven't lost it.
Yeah, well, you spent way more money than I did.
I've got it sitting in my garage.
Yeah,
I haven't lost it.
We just have to translate it back into dollars.
Right.
So the thing is, in that situation, what was needed to be said was said. Reputations were solidified. People know what he is. Mm-hmm. They know what it was. It's now it's done. I don't need to keep creeping on Varian's channels and his platforms to see what he's doing, to try to put the kibosh on anything. I'm too busy building my own thing. At some point you have to be like, look, okay, we're done. Round over. Who won? Okay, yeah, you won, fine. I'm going to go lick my wounds and do my thing. You go to take your victory lap, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But we can't do that. We won, we moved on. Exactly. Nita's in the same boat. We won, we moved on. It still hurts that my friend Meredith is gone, and the last year of her life was wasted, and I'll always be angry about that. Don't get me wrong, I'll always be angry about that. But it's not, I can't live in that anger. No. I can't live in what was done to us. If I do, I will sour, and every bit of life that I have that's been bonused to me past COVID, I will lose to anger.
Well, I had this I think it's just very apropos here. We're talking about when somebody has an ex relationship, okay?
Yeah.
And you're still in the relationship until you learn to walk away. Mm-hmm. Until you learn to not check on them every day. Until you learn that they're not part of your life anymore. Just walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Just not worth your time.
It feels like you're cutting off a limb because there's a part of you that's obsessed, but it's not benefiting you and it's not benefiting them. Every action that they make gets like blown up and out of proportion, and then you react. But you know what? If you don't put the energy into it, then it's over.
Yeah, here's the thing: if you don't like EVS, don't watch a show.
Yes. Don't watch the show. I don't watch the show anymore.
Right?
I don't even pay attention.
But if you don't like what Marvel's doing, stop watching the shows.
Yeah.
Stop complaining. Look, you're still buying the book and burning it. Right? You're still buying the book and burning. I apologize for my dog. The trash truck is coming around. And
it's trash day. It's
trash day. It's always trash day in this house. Hashtag selfless. Shameless self-promotion. Buy my book. One more backer gets me ready to go to print with the remastered trade paperback, and you'll get a number of prints with that that are exclusive to the first 25 people that back.
Right.
There you go. So anyway,
There you go.
that's what we do. We move on. We, if you don't like them, don't give money to it, and stop buying the book and then burning it. You can, like I said, you can burn as many copies of my book as you want. You're buying them. Every burnt book is a bought book.
Well, let me tell you one thing though, and not to take over your show, but I had to learn.
Why not?
This.
Well, go for it.
I had to learn this. Okay, this is hard to learn. Okay, it doesn't matter how much you invested in it. You're never going to get a return. Okay, you're never going to get it, no matter how much. You keep saying it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. I need to put energy into it. Maybe a little bit more, and maybe things will turn around. They're not going to turn around. They're never going to turn around. The situation's untenable, and the situation is pointless. And the only thing keeping it alive is you continuously going back to it.
And mentions,
this is all across. This is like every kind of obsession that people have. If you walk away and stop putting energy into it, it will die, and that is not a bad thing.
About every 10 days or so, Comicsgate will start to trend on Twitter.
Yep.
And it's never Comicsgate people that trend it. It's because somebody's angry at Comicsgate, or they say something, and so people will come in and show, like Mark Brooks will say something, and some people will have opinion about what Mark Brooks says, and those people are
there's a link to the Wikipedia article. Shock.
Yeah. And right, I mean it's and so it just starts to trend, because it's like here's what they don't understand. If they stop talking about the hashtag will go away.
Yep.
Or it'll die to the point to where it's just a handful of people that's using it, and it's it's a niche thing, and it's nobody's big deal anymore. If you here's the deal: if you keep buying the garbage that's out there that you don't like, they're going to keep making the garbage that you don't like, because negative publicity is still publicity.
Yep.
It's still trending.
And they don't want your love because they despise you. They want your hate. And if you keep giving them your hate, then you're giving them what they want.
Right.
So just don't give them anything.
Now, I've ranted pretty hard this morning about this, because men's mental health is very near and dear to me. It's something that I take serious. I don't take suicide lightly. I don't take mental health lightly. Maybe it's the fact that I was a pastor for so many years. So that's where that passion comes from. And these are all people that I like, okay? To some extent. I either like what they write, what they draw, what they do, some of the content they produce. I like it. But I'm seriously disappointed in the constant I'm not wrong, I'm right, they're wrong. The defending of your wrong. Look, there's no winners here. There's no winners. In fact, you start losing, because at the end of the day, now people that are your opposer can point to what's going on in your own ranks.
Yep.
And say, look what they're devouring themselves. And this goes for both sides. I'm telling you. This is not. It's not me pointing.
And if you are right,
it's not me pointing to SJWs.
And if you are right, then you'll be right. Even if they don't acknowledge it. So why do you need them to acknowledge that you're right? You don't. If you're right, you're right. Just accept it.
Yep. Varian never acknowledged that he lied to us.
No.
He never acknowledged, and he never apologized.
Nope.
He has yet to this day to come to me and say, Luke, I'm sorry that I abused your trust and friendship. But truthfully, he doesn't need to do that. I've already forgiven him, and I've moved on from it. I'm too busy building my brand and the things that I want to do. Rift Riders launches tomorrow. We've got book 9 of Hybrids coming out. We've got book 8 shipping today. We've got a trade paperback, remastered first trade paperback coming. We've got we're working on the final edits and building the pages for a role-playing game. Where, you know, we've got shows. We've got the Raging 2 network that came out of all that, with this network of creatives that are doing their thing. And yes, I know some people probably have heard and probably want to try to manufacture some drama around it. Yeah, I'm no longer part of the Raging 2 network. There's no drama there, okay? There's no one's mad at anybody. No one's upset with anybody. I'm getting ready to start doing more faith-based content on my channel, and Raging 2 has always been more adult-themed, and the two brands it's gonna be weird if you've got House of Bob, and then you've got Nerd Ward on there. You've got Luke talking about Jesus. It's like, it's just weird. The branding doesn't fit. So
Jesus and furry porn. Nope.
Yeah, it just doesn't match. So it's simply a business. It was simply a business tradition. Not tradition, a business decision to make that split. I actually was invited to keep using the same tools and stuff, but I knew Bunny was using some of these tools, and so we've just started using, started sharing, and there's a couple others in the Genesis crew, and we share the thing, and it's kind of become its own little network that obviously is, it's kind of a haphazard, accidental thing, but it's it's
well, I'm
fun.
involved, so yeah.
Yeah, and it's just no, we'd have to mark it as I'll bring the holy, you bring the never mind.
There you go.
But so it's like, are you guys not
we must be nearing the end. Nick's hair is completely messed up.
Yeah.
No, my hair is No, I've been real quiet about this because if you go on my other channel, you'll see a white boot is my logo. That's one of my logos for everything I do that's not art, is the white boot. And there are two reasons for it. One has a long story, so I'm not going into it. The other is you can't walk through the muck in white boots. Okay? So you have to rise above. And I one of the reasons I have that, I put it on a lot of my stuff when I do crafts, it's a reminder that I can't go wallowing in the muck. That's not who and what I am. And you were talking about trying to prevent suicide. Here's the thing. I don't care what your politics are. I don't care what your religion is, your orientation. If you feel like taking your own life, I'm going to do everything in my power to prevent that.
Yes.
And I have talked. I actually had to leave social media pretty much entirely for a while because I talked down over 100 people in the period of about a year. And that over 100 is a lot closer to 200. I actually lost count toward the end. And at one point in my life, I had 3 people on chat, and I was on the phone with the police trying to coordinate to a guy in Pennsylvania. So I take it deadly serious. And the fact that drama over comic books and IPs, our system, the system that we are in, the commercial, whatever you want to call it, is geared towards producing anger, because anger makes you stupid, and anger makes you self-serving. It inflames the spirit, and I consider it vile to put that out. And I have gotten to the point where I don't just not. Hey, yes, I love that, Froggy. I don't just not engage things I can't change. Okay, I completely disavow. Just walk away. And what drives me nuts is I see all these amazing creatives, and a lot of times it's on this show, sitting here wasting time and resources that we could use promoting each other, promoting ourselves, educating to make art, how to do art better, how how to write better. We see the problem, and I think it's high time across the field and across the hashtags and across the groups, whoever you are. I don't care if you're an SJW, if you're CG, COC, ABC, ATF. Please don't shoot my dog. I don't care.
Sorry.
It's time that we step back from all that BS, because it's like everybody's screaming, look, the dog has shat on the lawn. Look, there's shat. Do you smell the shat? Do you smell it? And it's like, either clean it up or walk away and do something else.
The baby has soiled himself. Yeah. It's
Oy vey.
And I mean
that's
that is
literally.
You're right. So here's the deal.
Like every episode we come on,
but
I'm sorry, it starts to get, because I'm here to do good. I'm here to motivate people, and I'm here to keep Luke out of trouble. I'll admit it. To somebody else.
That's why the hair.
That's why the hair. Because I care too much.
Hammer?
I will never be the cool guy who I don't care. No, I give way too much damn about individuals, not their flags or groups or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But we keep falling into the same trap, and we're in the same trap as the guy who got knocked into being suicidal, and the same trap as the people who drove him to it. And it's high time, wise woman I knew, when you're in trouble with your wife and you're digging a hole, you've dug that hole, put down the shovel and pick up a ladder. So and I want this to go out, because we're talking to a lot of people who do a lot of shows, and I love a good rant. I'm good at a rant. Randy's good at a rant. T-Bunny's good at a rant. Luke's good at a rant. Haven't heard Justin rant much, but I'm sure he is. But that's what they want from us. And if you want to be defiant, which I am, and you want to take my stand against the idiocy that we see, instead of shaking my fist and giving them, the old double deuce, I'm going to defiantly create something better. I'm going to promote the other people, and they're not going to get my money. I don't like what's on a lot of broadcast TV. I turn it off. And that's what they're learning hurts them more than anything. Because as long as they can create drivel and have us fixate on, we're watching it, they're getting the views, the hate views.
They're still getting it. Yeah, exactly. That's what we said. A burnt book is still a burnt book.
Drivel, and it's there to either incense or put a thing. The most powerful thing we have as individuals is the ability to boycott a job. I don't like how you're paying me. I'm going to quit. To boycott media. I'm not. If I have to grow my own food or some of my own food, so I don't have to go into a store I don't like, I dang well will. And that's what I'm encouraging you guys to do.
But here's Nick, here's what you're missing though. Let me point something out. You're missing this. They're not just allowing capitalism to choose who wins. They're canceling people.
Yeah.
They're going and saying, "How dare you hire that person?" And that's where the culture war comes in. Well, and that's why people complain so much. I get it. But at some point we have to say, look, you make your SJW thing, and I'll make my whatever thing, and we'll let the customer decide.
Best dog win.
What do you say, Luke? What do you say regularly? I'm uncancelable because you can only cancel somebody who will apologize and quit. You're looking at a guy who got back completely. I was in a group for 12 years, serving to the maximum of my physical and mental potential. Okay? This is a lot. I got blacklisted because I had the audacity to share my knowledge and experience with people outside the group, and they thought it would stop me. They came to my house and tried to invoke ways to seize my property.
Oh my gosh!
Did they try to Baker Act you?
Basically, and they're not a legal organization. They're I'm not going to drop names because I don't want to start stuff, but I mean, I had people surveilling my home from this organization, and they're like, "You can't do that; it's illegal." Well, listen up, jackanapes. I just published my third book
language
in a series of teaching people to sword fight because they thought they'd stop me. I've taught hundreds of people to sword fight with the secrets they don't want you to know. I will continue to do so until I'm dead. And by
Holy shit! Holy shit! You're Bruce Lee. You're the Bruce Lee of the sword or something.
You would be shocked, man.
I've
taught
boy.
a blind guy to sword fight. I have
that had to be dangerous.
To sword fight.
Yeah.
Nick is nothing if not brave.
Yeah.
My specialty is training people other people think they can't. So PTSD veterans with anger issues, guys who are nearly 7 foot tall, I can teach them finesse. People of different race, orientation, and stuff. I was threatened.
Now, does anyone actually think a gay guy can't pick up a sword? I'm like, really?
No, it's not that they can't. They don't want to. It really.
So, are you trying to say the limp wristed? Are you saying because of the limp wrist? Just asking.
Yeah.
No, but I can understand.
Good for throwing stuff.
No,
I can understand people like, hey, that's not safe to try to teach those people or people.
Well,
PTSD.
it was the same. No, the same logic as why you couldn't teach women and why you couldn't teach African Americans or Asians or whatever.
Yep,
and
gatekeeping, all of it.
It is. It's gatekeeping, and I've spent 20 years teaching people, regardless of group orientation, and they've literally come at me. They've knocked on my door at night saying, "You can't do this," and I'm like, "I'm not part of your group." Right. In the vernacular of the people of my generation,
I do what I want.
Okay,
I do what I want.
Oh, did you just
DX?
Holy God!
The DX, yes.
Woo!
You know,
not to worry. I have a permit. This just says I can do what I want.
Yep, there you go.
And so I take my approach to art, to comics, to everything else the same way. They can try to counsel you. And you know what? If your employer is such a amoral coward as to allow you to be pressured out, they don't deserve your services.
No.
Which is what's happened with DC.
That's the problem. The problem is a bit of cowardice in the face.
Now let's just point back all the way to the beginning. The whole thing they don't like, it's because the whole movement they hate is because of that behavior, and so somebody made their own thing.
Right, and that's the part that makes
How
it better.
dare you?
Because like when all you heard about you see the CG guys are, oh, I hate comic books. It all sucks. I heard about it, and I went, well, I mean, they're not. A lot of it sucks, but boy, that's a lot of energy to waste. I'm gonna be over here drawing and making games. You know what I mean? And that sucks. There's a lot that sucks. It's like
let's be fair though. CG was a consumer movement,
right,
not a creator movement. Okay,
exactly.
It wasn't. I hate comic books. It was I hate the comic books you're making.
Right.
Yep.
So other people started making comic books that they liked.
And once it became a creator movement, and I met the creators, I'm like, I respect creators. I don't care what flag. I don't care who you vote for. Heck, I remember
I do a little bit.
Not too long ago that once the election was over, everybody basically shut up and went on with their lives. I don't like this guy, but in 4 years, now you have people flying, and it's both sides in America. Trump, Biden, and it's like, well, if you don't like him,
I think
and I'm
when you were talking earlier,
I have 2 fingers, I can do this.
Well, when you were talking earlier, you were talking about I brought up Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And what Bruce Lee did was the reason why anybody knows martial arts that's not Easterner, that's not Asian, is because Bruce Lee said, "Okay, I'm going to teach whoever I want to, and if you want to stop me, here's a ring. Come in and stop me." And nobody could stop him.
Well,
and guess what we got from that? Guess what we got from that?
Jeet Kune Do.
We got that, but we got one of the greatest pop culture characters of all time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and
Chuck
what
Norris.
Chuck frickin' Norris.
Nice.
And
Billy
what
Blanks.
People don't know is Chuck Norris was just a stuntman until he got, and there's a real story of this. He and Bruce Lee were in the same hotel during Enter the Dragon.
Doing what? I'm joking.
Well, no, but they were hanging out, and when you take 2 martial artists You put them in a confined, they're going to start sparring. We're all the same.
Yeah.
And when I say, see, you default to Eastern martial artists. I'm like, I know Apache martial artists. I know
Nice. Oh my
Colombian
gosh.
martial artists.
We need to talk.
I know.
We need to talk.
I mean,
I want to pick your brain. I want to hear what stuff that. Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
And if you want, he didn't deserve Popinjay. At least Popinjay has style. Now,
but my favorite story though
they
about
had
that,
a
my favorite
huge-
story about that is
they had
what
a huge-
Bruce Lee said to him.
See if I
Chuck Norris says, "Oh, he wanted Chuck Norris to be in Return of the Dragon, right?" And he said to Chuck Norris, Chuck Norris says, "Oh, yeah, so you want to like beat up the world champion?" And Bruce Lee's like, "No, I want to kill the world champion."
One thing about Bruce Lee is he was a bit of a jerk. I mean, put it
Yeah, he
mildly, he was an arrogant jerk, but he was good enough he could get away with it.
Yeah.
And that's the truth about Bruce
when
Lee.
you're the best, you can be a little bit arrogant.
Now,
Yeah,
I was
think
also
Tarantino.
raised.
I think Tarantino captured Bruce Lee really well in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He did a really. I think he nailed him in that movie.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, Jim Kelly, the black guy from Enter the Dragon, I
Yeah.
saw an interview with him, and he's like, all those legends about him, and he's like, a lot of it seems like, oh, it's overblown. There's no way anybody could be that fast. There's no way that anybody could have that much power behind a punch. He's like, actually, you have no idea.
Yeah.
You really, honestly don't have any idea.
It's all being
literally
downplayed.
Was
It's
so his fastest punch was so fast you could not record it on the cameras of the time because it traveled in microseconds, and it literally the travel was between frames, so it looked like a jump cut. And but
It's like, why don't you just slow down a little bit, buddy?
no, they literally did. Now, there was a great sparring session, and I think that imparted a lot because they went for like 3 hours through the hotel. They just started fighting, and they're literally going down the hallway, through the elevator, through the kitchen. It was crazy.
And they're having fun.
Right. And so I think a lot transferred between these two gentlemen.
Yeah.
Now, there is one other fight, I will tell this, that had the most historical change. It happened in the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened is several TV movie series were filming at the same studio, and there was a narrow alleyway with a really great Chinese restaurant at the far end. I cannot remember the studio's name to save myself. But two people frequented this. Lawrence Trudeau, better known as Mr. T, and Chuck Norris. But it was barely an alleyway. It was like, Mr. T almost had to go sideways, very narrow. So one day, Mr. T's coming one way, and Chuck Norris, he's coming the other. And they meet in the dead center, and they're looking at each other. And they're like, okay, we've got to decide, one of us has to back up, and it's not me. It gets real quiet, and these two guys are looking at each other. It says, fine, we'll fight for it. And Chuck Norris threw a mighty roundhouse kick, and Mr. T threw a mighty roundhouse punch, and the two attacks collided, and the 80s were born.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I had an opportunity to lead you guys down the rabbit.
I knew it
That's
was
so
going
good.
somewhere.
It's so good.
But man, but that's the thing, though. I mean,
that's how you take a rant.
If you're good enough,
it is sometimes it's important to
not
point
gonna
to
matter.
things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's important to point. It's like, hey, look, this is crap, but I'm making something really cool.
And that's
here.
the trick. If you see something, you go, that's crap, and identifying it and then pose a solution, or go, I'm looking for something better, and say, hey, chat, give me something better.
But
we get trapped in the first stage, and too many of us are too great at creators with too limited time. We nearly lost both these guys, right?
Yeah.
They nearly died.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, they did for periods.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we have gotten since they woke up is literally miraculous.
Yeah.
We need to treat our time.
I mean,
as one
hello.
Yeah, no, seriously. It's
I don't
so
know the way Luke
mean-
acts sometimes. It might be demonic,
But I have to say though, like seriously, Chrome Dog would not exist at all. Like he wouldn't even be a twinkle in my eye at this point had it not been for Luke.
Yeah.
Like I can't even. I mean, gosh. Whew, hats off, bro. Seriously.
for sure. Yeah.
It's there's time. Life is too short to complain all the time. But part of the reason why I think you get all these people that complain all the time is two things. Number one, they're warriors in gardens, okay? And it's just like the sparring in the hotel. That's why I thought this was all recreational for a while for people. They were just having fun. It was just a way to sell books, you know. But, you know, sometimes when you are sparring and a hits a little too hard, so, you know, that little punk starts to take it serious, and then they really start trying to hurt you. And then you just have to push them down, right?
Oh yeah.
And so I think some of that might be happening verbally to people, but there's also people that they're not creators, they're only consumers, and so they don't have the outlet to just put their head down and make. And really, the people that you don't hear from much are the ones that are so busy making.
Yep.
The ones that you hear talking all the time, they're either not that busy making, or they're not making at all. So some of the most vocal people that I know, they have all kinds of critique and they're never happy with anything, but they don't have a body of work to point to say, well, look, here's all the good that I have made or that I've attempted to make. Because I'm afraid that if they ever do, they wouldn't be able to stand up to the same scrutiny that they put other people's work through.
Right.
You know,
Right.
But that's a lot of that. And so we're doing this out of obscurity thing because we want to make something awesome. And I think it's going to be amazing by the time it's all said and done. But one of the things that
we got a Chulu mythos poo story that is
Cthulhu.
absolutely
Cthulhu.
it's absolutely genius.
I have read
It's
it.
absolutely
I've seen the
freaking
layouts. The layouts. It's going to be really well done. The last page of art is absolutely beautiful. We've got. I mean, it's so good.
Lovecraft in 100 Acre Woods.
Yeah, done in 6 pages.
Wow, I totally took that wrong.
Lovecraft in 100 Acre.
When you said Lovecraft Pooh story, I just had this image of some guy off the coast of Providence in a boat, and it loomed up, squalumous, bizarre, this thing rising from the deep. My mind couldn't wrap the dimensions of it as it breached and knocked my ship over. And last time I realized it was a giant poo. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. That's
Some people complain that there
it wasn't
too
Boo
much sand
Thulu,
at
it
the
was
beach.
Poo Thulu.
No, I get it, but that's
funny.
I misheard it, and when you're creative and you mishear things.
Hojo's right though. Hojo is absolutely right that there are people that complain that the beach has too much sand.
Yeah.
There are people like that, and
it's so coarse and it gets everywhere.
Yeah, but I was telling one of the creators the other day, they let somebody read their story, and they didn't have good things to say. They didn't have necessarily negative things to say, but they found something negative. People are always looking for something negative. But I said, look, I read your story, I liked it,
Let me just say this right quick. The guy who wrote that story is a ghostwriter who wrote for big comic book companies, probably comics that you've read. And just looking at the ability that he has, and just at the timeline that he's given us, I think the reason why comics have fallen off a cliff is because they stopped using ghostwriters and ghost artists and ghost. The
writing is top notch. So we're starting with top notch writing on this story, and we're gonna work our best. That's our
baseline. The script has to be right before we go to anything.
Yeah, and then layouts have to be right. The sequential storytelling has to be right.
So
everything has to be right.
Get this. It's going to be top freaking notch, man.
And like I was telling someone, he let somebody else read a script, and he was like, "Well, I don't." I said, "Look, I don't put much value in that person's opinion. I just don't."
No.
Because they don't have anything to point to. What have you done? If all you are is a critic, I don't care if you're a critic.
Right.
If you're a critic, if you are a food critic, you can go kick rocks. I don't care what you think about their food. If you're a chef, I care what you think about their food. Like, that's who I want to be my food critic, is the chef. You know, teachers, people that can't do, teach, right? People that can't do anything, criticize.
Yeah.
People that can't do anything, criticize. That's what I think. And so, but we have a lot of people that's what people want to hear. They want to hear the negative. We're conditioned to do negative.
Yeah.
And you know, but it's important. It's important to stop. You know, kind of got on this whole thing, you know, with the mental health and all that, because it's just not Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris sparring in a hotel. It's just not two masters at their trade having a good go, trying to see who could win. And at the end of the day, walking away and having a beer.
Yeah.
It's people losing their livelihood. It's people considering taking their own lives. It's people trying to get more notoriety. It's people that are, you know, their whole
Clout
life is
chasing.
living off. Yeah, their whole life is living off of clicks and tweets and super chats and stuff. It's rough.
I gotta run,
You know what?
so
Now's
I
a good time
gotta
to
go get stuff done today.
I
No
agree.
problem,
I do
man.
too. I agree.
All right,
We've
man.
been at this for 2 hours and 40 minutes. I too.
Thanks,
need to
My
Randy.
get
fault.
going.
It's my fault. I came in late. It's my fault.
Well, it's
I
good
too
talking,
need to
but
run.
I have stuff I absolutely need to get done today.
Yeah, people
Bye,
want their
Zim.
books today as well.
You
Zim,
know,
have a
you
good
have a
one.
good one then.
Everybody check out Zimcast
Yes.
on the
Yep.
Raging 2 Network. Check out the
100%.
Raging 2 Network.
Thanks, Randy.
And
Got another show starting up because I can't stop talking. I guess tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Comics by Night.
Woo!
Wow, 5
With a voice
a.m.
like yours, I'd talk
Russ-
all day.
Russ will be there.
Oh my
Glenn will be there.
gosh.
Charles Santino will be there, and we're going to talk about making comics and
Woo!
all of the mechanics behind
I will be checking
doing
that
what
out
we
in
love.
replay.
So
I
Joining
will.
you live.
Yep, yep.
You know what? I'm gonna take you up on that. I'm gonna tune in live and it's gonna be on Fridays.
Friday mornings. Yep. Well,
Nice.
morning for us.
Yeah.
For Russ and Glenn, it'll be early,
Nice.
Early afternoon for them.
Yes. Okay.
But,
I'm
we'll
in.
see what happens. I always wanted
Heck
to do
yeah.
a late night show over on the West Coast. It'll be 2 a.m.
All
Nice.
right.
Yeah, that
No
is late
problem,
night over
man.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
5 a.m. is a little
All
early
right.
for my blood, but I will catch you in the replay.
I got to drop the wife off at work at 4:30, so I just
Uh-oh.
won't go back to bed right
well, that's
away. And
perfect. It works out.
Awesome.
come in,
Sounds
turn on
good.
the old computer, and start talking. So.
Heck
All
yeah.
right, later.
All right,
Make it
everybody,
happen.
we'll see you.
All right,
see you
see
later.
you.
Thanks for
Later.
having me on.
See
Deeply
you, Zim.
appreciate
All right,
you.
man.
Arrow Comics 4.0. There's a lot of stuff coming. There's a lot of stuff I got to do. So
Yep.
and a lot of nice surprises coming,
Including
we got-
Chrome Dog.
including Chrome Dog. Man,
Oh my gosh.
that's just the stuff we've announced. So
That's only the stuff we've announced.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All right.
so much
We'll
coming.
see you
up.
soon.
All right, see you soon.
take care, everybody.
Speaking of, I think it's a good time to get going today. It's been
All
a
right.
lot of fun, a
Cool.
good conversation.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited to think about what the Todd father might be doing with the DC toys, and maybe
Yep.
someday helping get the publishing back on track, man. Because I mean, what a rich history of comic books that I would hate to see go away.
Yeah.
You
But,
know what?
you know.
I don't. That's one thing I don't think will ever happen. I do not think there's too much power in that IP. That if DC completely folded, there'd be sharks looking to
Yeah.
gobble them up.
No, Joe B. Dillon. No, here's the deal. I actually pay people to criticize my work. So,
Yes.
They're called editors.
yeah, that's what I do. I pay people to criticize me, so that I don't have to have. That's why I don't take criticism from other people.
Hi, Beth.
I've already paid. I've already paid for it. Yeah.
No, he gets her for free.
No, we're paying her for her editing work on the.
Oh,
RPG.
that's right. Copy editing. That's right.
Yeah. Well, no, she's doing more in copy edit. She's like, well, this doesn't make sense to me. Shouldn't this information be here?
Man,
This
I
seems
can't
like-
wait for that game. Oh my
It's
gosh,
coming,
y'all
man.
are
It's
killing
coming.
me. The suspense.
coming.
Oh, shoot.
It's got to be
Am
done
I-
well.
Let's see. I guess I had to back that perk to get the preview, huh?
The quick play, yes. Yes.
Oh well.
Well, you could also. Isn't it still on?
Still, on my website.
Yeah, go to LukeStoneStudios.com. $15 will net you the quick play in floppy form.
I will see what I can do.
Yep, yeah, you can get started on that. So, Justin, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, and give any last parting thoughts for the day.
Okay, so hi, I'm Justin K. Sweet. I am not only a writer, but I'm also an editor. So if you've got a story that you just are itching to get, someone else's eyes on or whatnot, I can certainly. I am for hire, taking commissions on that. But I represent, I guess first and foremost, Agent Zero Comics. But then I'm also a brand ambassador for both Alterna Comics as well as Arrow Comics. It's kind of funny. It's AAA, baby. You know what I'm saying? Agent Action always. That's my moniker. But yeah, currently working on Chrome Dog. We've actually, thanks to Luke, we've got the first 10 pages fully inked, and we're just waiting on colors. And once the colors come back, we'll move into lettering and hopefully making a start with this initial Ashcan campaign. So pretty excited with that, plus the Out of Obscurity awesomeness that's coming. I'm actually got a contribution of a story, which I'm bringing back the Bronze Terror. So but what many don't know is that he's actually going to be I'm writing this character in such a way he's going to be a mainstay in my universe, dubbed the Ringgold verse. So stay tuned for more information on what all that is. You can
tuned.
The best place to find me is definitely on Twitter, and so that's why you see in my my little marquee down there, it says @Justin K. Sweet. That is and has always been my my Twitter handle. So yeah,
There you go. All right.
hope to see you.
Hello, I'm Cooper from Telepathic Bunny Comics. I have a YouTube channel that's writer-based, but also we have a wacky show on Monday that could be anything or nothing. Often is, nothing. But anyway, but I also have several other shows and things like that. Check out the playlist. I also that is Telepathic Bunny Comics, the YouTube channel. Also have Odyssey and Rumble if you want to check over there. Also Telepathic Bunny Comics, exclamation point. Anyway, also I'm on Twitter, Telepathic Bunny on Twitter.
I'm sensing a theme.
Yeah, it seems to be. I like to keep things consistent. Anyway, once you find it, man, you gotta write it. Man. Anyway, but yeah, I'm on Twitter, Telepathic Bunny. I also have a universe called Community Service I'm currently working on. We're almost closing out the first book. We're finalizing some things. Also, I'm in the O3, the Out of Obscurity anthology. I'm doing the original Ghost Rider, known as Rex Blaze. But the name of the story is Ghost Story ? So because we can't use Ghost Rider, it's been
Can't use Ghost Rider. They trademarked that
can't
thing.
use Ghost Rider. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Stupid trademarks.
Even though this is the original guy or anything, whatever. So I'm just happy to be part of that group. I think it's going to be awesome. So if you need anything from me, I do story edit or story read throughs. I give you my advice. I've been known to be very blunt, but I try to be productive with my bluntness. So if you want you got a script you want somebody's eyes on to let you know if you got something or not, or what exactly you do have, feel free to DM me. I right now I'm currently not. If I start getting swamped, I'll probably start charging. But right now I'm free balling it. I just want quality.
Wow.
I just want more quality writing.
Roughing the
I just
listener
want some more
30
quality writing. That's all I want. That's what I'm here for. Anyway,
Somebody please clip Coop saying I'm freeballing it. I just want that to be like
take it away, Nick.
just all over the internet.
There he is. There's the man.
And I'm actually fully dressed for those of you who care. Hi, I'm Nick Tucker, freelance author, artist, swordmaster, and an internet personality, and retired paranormal consultant. I can be found at nicholastockert.com, where all my links live. I'm on the Nicholas Tockert YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm right here for a steaming slice of nerd bacon at 9 a.m. on Luke Stone Studios channel and wherever Luke is broadcasting it. My works can be found at amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tockert, where you can find the now 3-volume set of the Historical Fencing Guild's Manual of Defense. If you want a plain English method of learning how to sword fight using stick figures so no one is intimidated, you can buy those books. I'm also a game designer, most importantly for the Hybrids and Base Plus 2 engine. Lockdown Games is going to be a thing, at which point I will be able to talk about it more. Expect several games that I'm connected to in the near future, as well as some from me. Other than that, yeah, I think that's literally everywhere you can reach me, save for I'm on Facebook, but really don't bother there. I have a lot of relatives on Facebook. It's going nuts. Follow me on Twitter at ntalker. Right there.
Follow him on Twitter. My name's Luke Stone. I took off the hat because it's hot in my office and I was starting to sweat.
It's getting hot in here.
It is. It is.
It's Florida.
You can find me at lukestonestudios.com. All of the pertinent links are over there. Be looking for the launch of Rift Riders with writer and co-creator Piper Steed and artist John Dillard. And the colorist will be Edgar. I can't say his last name because I forget it. I just know him as Edgar.
Tavitas.
Edgar Tavitas will be the colorist on that project, and so we're keeping Edgar busy, aren't we? Between the I think he's almost overworked at this point.
I
don't know about that. He seems to be cranking everything out at a reasonable rate right now.
True.
So yeah, it's keeping his.
I think my project's a little more. I don't know. He says it's a little more complicated than he expected. At least that's from his own commentary on it.
Yeah, he probably wasn't expecting what I did with the inks. The backgrounds are pretty
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty. Well, I was gonna say they're pretty involved backgrounds. Yeah, they're pretty involved backgrounds, and it gets easier closer to the end of the 10 pages. But I like to establish things pretty early on. Yeah, I kind of went a little nuts on it myself. I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is crazy. Like, this is taking forever.
Nice.
Yeah, it took me forever in some of those backgrounds. I worked on one panel. I worked on the background as long as it normally takes me to do 2 pages. One background.
And I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
And I'm like, son of a stink, man. I just blew through.
Well, I really have to say I appreciate you setting the scene there. I expected like that level of detail in the very first panel, and I'm glad you saved it for that part. So kudos.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all about storytelling, So it's going to be good storytelling
for sure.
That's the thing. That's the thing out there. Writers, find an artist who cares as much about the storytelling as you do, because it really is a relationship between the two that makes it successful. If you want to sell your first comic book, you better have a darn good artist. If you want to sell your second one, you better have a darn good writer. So it's a relationship. If it's going to be a long-term thing, it's got to be both people working at it.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, you can find me at Luke Stone Studios. We've got a lot of things coming out. Sign up for the mailing list. I will be putting out a newsletter hopefully this weekend to let everybody know the many things that we have going with Luke Stone Studios and all of my cohorts out there in the comic book world. Remember, try to build up more than you tear down. You know where this is going, guys.
Oh no.
Yes.
I'm out of here.
I've been looking forward to it.
Try to build up more than you tear down. No. Leave the wood pile a little bit higher than you found it. And by all means,
bring it on.
Let's be careful out there.
Let's be careful out
there. Let's be careful out there. We had a 187 Two Caucasians of the male persuasion for the pulling through the cashier's brain. Moving on, I see it 211. Half a dozen 459. 280 W's or GTA. Several miscellaneous crimes. Homicide, arson, robbery, rape. Everybody gets their share. Crime never sleeps, so stay away. Let's be careful.